Chapter 2440. Fire Rose paid no attention to Luli. She just nodded and left with the warrior of the fifth tribulation. She looked like a mute who couldn't speak. Luli bowed to Fire Rose again. This might not be a big deal for Fire Rose, but for him, it was a great favor. He was grateful. Ha ha. The playful young man next to him sneered and said sarcastically, "This is a novel way of picking up a girl. Too bad, it doesn't work either." Luli smiled and ignored the jealous young master. He turned around and went back to the cabin. He must seize the time to further understand what he just learned. Back in the cabin, Luli activated the divine patterns and the inhibition formations in the room. While consuming the pellets, he entered the dreamland to concentrate on the dragon skill. Theoretically speaking, when he mastered the dragon skill, his body could be strengthened by 30 times. Even though it was only for a short period of time, how powerful would it be? The Purple Emperor had relied on his shocking divine arts to suppress many great emperors. Now that he had a chance to learn Emperor Z's amazing skill, how could Luli not be excited and work hard? Luli was in closed-door cultivation, but it was still the same outside. Every day, Fire Rose would stay in the tavern, drink tea, or listen to plays. Every night, she would go to the deck and stand by herself. She always had a smile on her face, which made people feel like they were bathing in the spring breeze. But deep in her bones, she was cold and unapproachable. She didn't talk to anyone after she boarded the ship. She didn't even say anything when she ordered drinks. It was the old man next to her who did the talking. The battleship moved on, stopping from time to time. Occasionally, there would be an eruption of the Silver Flame volcano. The battleship would stop and warriors of the Scorching Island would go to collect some treasures. Warriors of the Scorching Island would go down the ship to collect some treasures. Warriors of the Scorching Island wouldn't care even if they died in front of them. Sometimes there would be some conflicts, but nobody dared to attack warriors of the Scorching Island. Warriors of the Scorching Island, on several occasions, were attacked and more than a dozen were killed. This was the rule of the Scorching Island. Warriors of the Silver Flame, all knew about it. The battleship would stop from time to time. There would be people boarding and disembarking. That Fire Rose stayed on the battlefield. Every time, she would wander around the tavern or on the deck. She was a beautiful sight on the battleship. Soon, another 3 months passed. The battleship arrived at the center of the Silver Flame Sea. Today, the warship was docked on a huge island in the middle. This island was immobile and also one of the largest islands in the Silver Flame Sea region. It was the territory of one of the 5 major factions, the Wu family. The Wu family was a great emperor family. The great emperor of their family was very strong and was very famous in the third heaven. Back then, they became famous because they killed a great emperor, Yang. People called him Yang Di, so the great emperor who was killed was naturally Purple Emperor. This island was called Yang Di Island. It was one of the islands with the densest spiritual energy in the Silver Flame territorial waters. There was also a primitive mystic land on the island. Of course, this primitive mystic realm was not exclusive to the Wu family. The Wu family did not occupy this mystic realm. The Yang to dragon to Yang heaven to up to the heaven in Yang. And A2 of the Wu. The heaven with warrior of to him. With, by to that, is to. Young Master Wu was immediately attracted by Flaming Rose the moment he arrived. He stuck to Flaming Rose like a fly. However, Flaming Rose completely ignored him. Young Master Wu was still a gentleman and did not dare to act recklessly. On the battleship, he must have some scruples. The bodyguards he brought with him didn't dare to do anything. At night, there would be an interesting scene on the deck. Fire Rose stood on one side, and the Wu family young master on the other. Their warrior of the fifth tribulation stood next to them like 2 pieces of wood. The others didn't dare to come closer. The Wu family young master wouldn't be polite to them. The battleship moved on. Luli had been cultivating. He was about to master the dragon skill. Nothing was more important than this. Even if the Silver Flame volcano was erupting and treasures were spewing out, Luli wouldn't care. The improvement of his abilities was more important than any treasures. So what if he had a Saint King's divine weapon to improve his abilities? He wouldn't be able to exert his power. He might not even be able to use it. I have made it. A month and a half later, Luli opened his eyes in joy. He was so excited that he was short of breath. His heart was pounding as if he was drunk. He wanted to have a try right now. How strong would his physical strength be when he activated the dragon skill completely? But he didn't. Once he did, his chi and blood would be horrifying. By then, many people would be alarmed, and the powerful warriors of the Scorching Island would misunderstand him. Plop! Luli lay down on his back, and soon fell into a deep sleep. Due to the fact that he had been studying the bordering dragon skill, he had spent a great deal of energy. He was exhausted and needed a good rest. Boom! He slept for 2 days. Luli didn't wake up naturally. He was alarmed by a strong, killing intent. Before he could do anything, the battleship trembled and then exploded. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Among the sawdust, more than 1,000 people flew up. Many of them were shocked as they checked with psychic power. Powerful warriors of the Scorching Island were ready for a fight, as if they were facing a formidable enemy. Who are you? How dare you attack the battleship of the Scorching Island? Are you declaring war on the Scorching Island? Powerful warriors of the Scorching Island looked at the space in front of them on the left. Just now, there was a shadow of a fist that was so fast that it shattered the battleship in an instant. Luckily, there were runes on the battleship that protected it, or else many people would have been killed. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. From a distance came 3 noises. Following that, 3 people in black robes, and their looks were indistinguishable. They stood in midair, 300 miles away from the others. One of them sneered and said, "We are here to kill warriors of the Scorching Island. The rest of you move aside. We only kill warriors of the Scorching Island. If you don't want to die, piss off." The more than 1,000 people on the battleship looked at each other, speechless. Someone dared to challenge the Scorching Island in the Silver Flame waters? The 3 of them were bold enough to fight against so many powerful warriors of the Scorching Island with just the 3 of them. But the 3 of them were hiding. It seemed that they were afraid to reveal their identities. They only dared to intercept the battleship of the Scorching Island. Many businessmen were troubled. They had spent so many divine stones, and now they had to fly away on their own. The divine stones were not a big deal. What was more, if they were in danger, they would all die. Luli pulled a long face. Only half of the time had passed. He should be at the center of the Silver Flame waters by now. There were 3 people on the battleship ready to assassinate him at any time. Now is the time for them to do so. Guys, this is a problem of the Scorching Island. Please go to the Dragon King Island nearby. There, the Scorching Island branch will give you an explanation. Chapter 2441. As soon as the warrior from the Scorching Island said this, they dared not to stay any longer. The 3 mysterious warriors were too powerful. The least of the 3 was at the 5th tribulation. The one who spoke was so powerful that others could not tell his realm. It was highly possible that he was at the peak of the 5th tribulation, or even the 6th. It made sense. Since the 3 dared to attack the battleships of the Scorching Island, they must be ready to challenge the dozens of powerful warriors here. If the 3 were not out of their minds, then they must have something up their sleeves. They even felt they could kill all the powerful warriors here. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Teams of merchants flew away. Since the warrior from the Scorching Island had given his instructions, the Scorching Island would make arrangements for them when they arrived at the Dragon King Island. They would either pay with divine stones or arrange for another battleship to escort them. Whoosh! That Fire Rose left as well. She took out a chariot with her escorts and flew toward the north. The young master of the Wu family didn't mind what was going on here. He took out a chariot and went after Fire Rose. Let's go. Staying here would definitely not end well for him. Furthermore, it would be easy for the 3 mysterious experts to misunderstand and think that he was in cahoots with the people from Heavenly Flame Island. If that happened, he would be killed. Luli was traveling with a group of people. It was a large caravan with more than 30 people. Not only that, there were more than 10 other people who were traveling with them. Luli thought it would be better to have more company. Whoosh, 3 people flew over. They were the ones who wanted to kill Luli. The 3 pretended to fly with Luli. One of them was at the peak of the 4th tribulation. The team was happy to have the 3 as companions. As I thought, Luli was not surprised by this result. He was not too afraid now. He had mastered the dragon manipulation skill. His abilities had been enhanced, and so had his confidence. The only one he was worried about was the warrior at the peak of the fourth tribulation. He didn't think much of the other two. After he used the dragon manipulation skill, he should be able to stand the attacks from the warrior at the peak of the fourth tribulation. Together with the daughter of the Saint King, they could kill the warrior. The other two would be under no pressure. Also, if he could stand the attacks from the warrior at the peak of the fourth tribulation, he could fly away. Therefore, he was not worried. The group of people quickly flew away, and soon, they were hundreds of thousands of li away. Soon, rumbling sounds could be heard from behind. Clearly, the battle had begun. With so many experts fighting, the scene would definitely be very frightening. Luli had been secretly guarding against the three people behind him. The three people didn't pay attention to him. Instead, they were discussing the battle behind them and the identities of the three mysterious people. Who were those three people? The Island Lord of Sky Flame Island, his little brother Yu's nephew. Anyone who dares to make an enemy of Sky Flame Island would be making an enemy of Emperor Yu. I'm guessing it's some superpower. Moreover, this superpower must have a great emperor standing behind it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be so bold. I guess so. The Heavenly Flame Island has been so overbearing in the Silver Flame Sea region. They have long since offended many people. It is normal for a major faction to be dissatisfied with them. However, this should be a warning. Otherwise, they would have attacked Heavenly Flame Island long ago instead of intercepting the warship. A superpower? A great emperor was standing behind him? Could it be the great emperor that just entered the Silver Flame Sea region? He wanted to suppress the Yu Emperor and gain some benefits from it? Divide the territory? I don't know. Let's not talk about this. The more we talk, the more we think about it. If the great emperor hears about it, we will all die. While the others were discussing, Luli was not curious at all. There must be a big conspiracy behind this. It was not something people of his level could be involved in. Since it had nothing to do with him, why should he ask? They flew for more than 2 hours when they saw an island ahead. Someone suggested to sit there and take a break. At the same time, they should think about what to do next. There was still a long way to go before they reached Dragon King Island. If they were to fly there, it would take at least several days. They could run into powerful warriors at the Silver Flame Sea region at any time. If they were to run into a powerful warrior who was greedy for money, they would all die. Killing in the Silver Flame Sea region was common. Even the dozens of people in the team were on guard against each other. They were afraid that someone would suddenly kill them. After all, there were 2 caravans here. Naturally, the caravans would carry a large number of materials and treasures. They flew to the island and began to discuss. Someone suggested to wait until the fight was over. If the Scorching Island won, they could go back and go with the Scorching Island. Someone suggested not to go to the Dragon King Island. Instead, they should go to a nearby island where there was a city. They could stay in the city and take a ride on a large battleship. Someone else suggested to go to the Dragon King Island. Luli didn't mind. He was even ready to fly away. The Dragon King Island was a bit far away, but he believed it wouldn't be long after he flew away. Big brother, one of the 3 suddenly said to Luli, "Why don't you say something? What do you think we should do?" Luli had disguised himself as an old man. His breath of life could not be sensed. Luli smiled to himself. Finally, the 3 could not wait any longer. Luli said with a smile, "I don't have any opinions. Let's go. We will go wherever we want to go." "Brother, I have something to talk to you in private." That person sat down with enthusiasm. Pointing to the distance, he said, "Let's go over there. Speaking of which, we have met before." "Oh," Luli pretended to be surprised. The person talking to him was at the later stage of the fourth tribulation. So, the person was trying to drag Luli to somewhere nearby and kill him in a sneak attack. The other 2 also had their psychic powers locked on to Luli. Luli knew that he could not fly away at the moment. Since one of them was ready to take action, Luli decided to kill this person after some thoughts. After that, he could ignore the warrior at the middle stage of the fourth tribulation. He would be fine as long as he could kill the warrior at the peak of the fourth tribulation. Sure, Luli pretended that he was not alarmed at all. He flew to the distance. That person came over at once and flew side by side with Luli. While flying, he said with a smile, "Brother, do you remember me?" Luli frowned and said, "I think so. Where did we meet?" "North of the godly Windland." The middle-aged warrior said with a smile, "Brother, think about it. Half a year ago." The middle-aged warrior was vague. Luli pretended to be in deep thoughts. They flew to the seaside and into the deep sea. Luli had been activating the trace of Tao. Seeing that the man was not showing any killing intent, Luli left him alone and flew on. 300 miles away, the man suddenly stopped and said with a smile, "Brother, let me show you something. If you like it, name a price. If not, then forget it." "They're going to do it." Chapter 2442. Boom! With a muffled sound, the man put on an armor and a helmet. Luli's fist landed on the man's helmet with a muffled sound. That being said, the force made the man see stars and feel dizzy. Before the man could come back to his senses, Luli had punched again and again. In a time for one breath, Luli had punched more than 30 times. Whoosh! 2 men flew over from the island. The other 2 assassins had been watching the 2 with psychic power. As soon as Luli made his move, the 2 realized what was going on. The assassin caught by Luli came back to his senses as well. He took out a glaring dagger and stabbed at Luli's chest. Bang, bang, bang. Luli kept on punching. The man's armor began to crack. The armor was good, but Luli's strength was too strong. The runes inside were destroyed, and the helmet was cracked. Boom! The man's body was not strong. After several rounds of punching, his head cracked, and he died immediately. Blood splashed on Luli's face. Bang! The dagger stabbed at Luli's chest with a glow. However, the assassin felt he was stabbing at a piece of iron. There was a muffled sound. Not only did the dagger not go in, but it was bounced off. The other 2 who rushed over saw the dead body in Luli's hand, the blood on his face, and the bloodthirsty eyes of Luli. The 2 of them felt their hearts skip a beat. They knew very well how powerful that man was. It was not his strongest move, but it was still lethal. How come he cannot crack Luli's defense? Had Luli's immortal body been perfected? Charge! The warrior at the peak of the 4th tribulation was filled with killing intent. He couldn't care less. He shouted and charged at Luli from the left and right with the other warrior at the middle stage of the 4th tribulation. What is it? Many warriors flew up from the island and checked with psychic power. Wasn't Luli here to talk with someone? Why did he suddenly make a move? Why did he kill someone? Whoosh, whoosh, the 2 were not far away from Luli. They rushed over at once. The warrior at the peak of the 4th tribulation had a string of Buddhist beads in his hand. The beads were covered in runes and were filled with energy. Clearly, it was a piece of treasure. Luli could tell with psychic power that the runes on the beads were different from the ones he saw now. The beads must be old. Whoosh! He threw the Buddhist beads at Luli. However, the Buddhist beads dispersed and expanded to the size of a fist. The 25 Buddhist beads turned into 25 iron balls and smashed at Luli from all directions. The other warrior took out a pagoda, which grew in size and floated above Luli's head. The glow from the pagoda enveloped Luli. Luli felt he was slowed down. He raised his iron fist and smashed it at the beads that were flying towards him like lightning. Every time he hit a bead, there would be a dull sound. The surrounding space would tremble and ripples would appear. Bang, 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 bang. The beads were smashed away by Luli one by one, but they flew back to him again and again. Inevitably, Luli was hit by the beads. He felt suffocated by the force, but it was not enough to injure him. The warrior at the peak of the 4th tribulation and the middle stage of the 4th tribulation each took out a weapon, a spear and a saber. They attacked Luli one after the other. Hiss! The spear created a shadow with a shrill noise. The spearhead was still covered in blue flames. The spear was aimed at Luli's back. The warrior at the middle stage of the 4th tribulation kept hacking at Luli with his saber. Surges of saber energy rolled over like waves, shaking the sky and filled with killing intent. The weaker warrior's attack was intimidating, while the more powerful one's attack seemed to be average. This was clearly their strategy. The real move was the one at the peak of the fourth tribulation. The 25 beads were smashing at Lu Li, and the pagoda was spinning fast. Average warriors would have been in a panic under such a variety of attacks and would not know which one to defend against. Lu Li was not at all panicked. In his eyes, the warrior at the peak of the fourth tribulation and the spear were the only ones. He could ignore the other attacks. The only thing on his mind was the warrior at the peak of the fourth tribulation. Lu Li thought quickly, coming up with different strategies. Let's do it. The warrior at the peak of the fourth tribulation was too powerful. It was impossible to kill him without paying a price. The reaction of a warrior at the peak of the fourth tribulation was freakishly fast. Lu Li might only have one chance. Go to hell. Lu Li took out a shield in one hand and a saber in the other. His armor appeared as well. He stared at the warrior at the middle stage of the fourth tribulation. He shouted and hacked at the warrior at the peak of the fourth tribulation, releasing the Slayer's ghost cut. Swish! The spear behind Lu Li suddenly sped up and shook. The blue flames on the spearhead glowed and were absorbed into the spear. Then, the spear was stabbed at Lu Li's back with white flames. Bang, bang, bang. The armor on Lu Li's back cracked. Then he felt a sharp pain and a smell of burnt flesh. His back was pierced by the white flames, and the spear went in as well. But Lu Li's body was strong. After the white flames went through some of his muscles, they died out. The spear only went in for 3 inches. In the end, the spear reached Lu Li's ribs and could not go any further. This was the moment. Lu Li had been waiting for a chance. The shield and saber disappeared. He grabbed the spear with one hand, and the heaven separation bead glowed in his other hand. The Phantom King came out. Roar, roar. The Spectre King let out a roar, and a violent aura and a tyrannical beast aura spread out, suppressing the peak of the fourth tribulation. But the Phantom King roared and reached for the head of the warrior at the middle stage of the fourth tribulation. Buzzing, Lu Li's heaven separation bead glowed again. The daughter of Holy King came out. She did not have a strong energy, but she was fast. She slapped at the abdomen of the warrior at the peak of the fourth tribulation. At the same time, Lu Li dashed forward and pulled forcefully with his hand. The warrior at the peak of the fourth tribulation was distracted by the Phantom King and the daughter of the Saint King, so he could not react in time. Naturally, he was pulled forward by Lu Li. Bang! Bang! The Phantom King's claw landed on the head of the warrior at the peak of the fourth tribulation, while the daughter of Holy King slapped at the abdomen of the warrior at the peak of the fourth tribulation. The warrior's head was fine. He was protected by the helmet, but a surge of force came from the abdomen. It shook the divine core of the warrior at the peak of the fourth tribulation. Even his divine energy was disturbed. Bang! Bang, bang. On the other side, the attack of the warrior at the middle stage of the fourth tribulation landed on Lu Li as well as the Buddha beads. But Lu Li was not harmed. Lu Li ignored the warrior at the middle stage of the fourth tribulation. He shook his hand. The warrior at the peak of the fourth tribulation was flustered because his divine energy was disturbed. He lost his grip on the spear and was knocked away by Lu Li. Lu Li put away the spear and dashed over like a ferocious tiger. He did not attack. Instead, he dashed to the back of the warrior at the peak of the fourth tribulation and entangled the warrior with his hands and feet. The warrior at the peak of the fourth tribulation must have strong defensive skills. It would be difficult for him to kill the warrior. Lu Li's job was to stall the warrior and let the daughter of Holy King finish him off. Bang, bang, bang. Chapter 2443. Lu Li's strength was horrifying. He was entangling the warrior at the peak of the fourth tribulation from behind. He could barely move. The daughter of Saint King kept attacking. His pellet was shaken up as well. His divine energy was in a mess. For a moment, he could not even use any skills. Whoosh, 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 the 25 Buddhist beads flew over and smashed at the daughter of Saint King. The other warrior at the middle stage of the fourth tribulation targeted her as well. The daughter of Saint King was strong in defense. The silk dress she was wearing must be a piece of treasure. Average attacks could not break it. Bang, bang, bang. After the daughter of Saint King made more than 10 moves, the pellet of the warrior at the peak of the fourth tribulation was cracked. At this rate, the pellet would be broken and the warrior's abilities would be weakened. In the end, he would die. Buzzing, the warrior at the peak of the fourth tribulation risked his life. A faint blue haze rose around him. The blue haze gathered in front of his chest. An oppressive energy spread out from the blue haze. More and more blue haze gathered, and it was compressing. Clearly, the warrior at the peak of the fourth tribulation was ready to risk his life. The compressed energy was horrifying. Once it exploded, the warrior at the peak of the fourth tribulation might die. Lu Li and the daughter of Saint King might be seriously injured as well. Lu Li's interspatial ring glowed as he took out the relic iron. He smashed at the warrior's head. Lu Li didn't want to expose the relic iron. After all, the holy weapon fragment was precious. There were dozens of warriors nearby. Lu Li could make a move if they wanted to. At the moment, Lu Li had no time to worry. He took out the relic iron and smashed at the warrior's head. The warrior was releasing the blue haze. Sensing the horrifying energy, he was frightened. Lu Li, we are from the Hall of Blood Massacre. If you dare to kill me, we will not let you go. The warrior yelled. Lu Li's hand didn't stop. He smashed at the warrior's head. Admittedly, this man's defense was strong. A yellow halo glowed over his head, which slowed down Lu Li's attack. But in the end, Lu Li's attack still landed on his head. Bang! The warrior's head was cracked, but it did not explode. He cried out in pain. The blue haze in front of his chest exploded. Lu Li and the daughter of Saint King were both smashed away. Since the skill was not fully released, it was not that powerful. Neither Lu Li nor the daughter of Saint King was hurt. That person actually didn't die from such a terrifying explosion. He screamed and fled into the distance. His body was in a terrible state, and his hair was disheveled. He looked like a madman as he flew away. Still want to escape? Lu Li sneered. The daughter of Saint Emperor had gone after him, while Lu Li dashed toward the warrior at the middle stage of the fourth tribulation. The warrior at the middle stage of the fourth tribulation was scared as well. He wanted to run away, but the Phantom King had already flown over under Lu Li's control and entangled him. Xiao! Lu Li dashed over. The fate of this warrior at the middle stage of the fourth tribulation had been decided. Soon, he was killed by Lu Li and Phantom Master. On the other side, the Holy Emperor's daughter chased over and easily killed the heavily injured peak fourth tribulation expert. She even took back the spatial ring of the peak fourth tribulation expert. Lu Li put away the 25 beads and the pagoda. The owners of the two treasures were dead, and they had returned to their original state. Although it was not a supreme treasure, it was still worth some divine stones. The dozens of warriors on the island watched as Lu Li killed the three so easily. None of them dared to move. There were warriors at the peak of the fourth tribulation there as well. They also coveted Lu Li's holy weapon pieces. But they must have some scruples, so they didn't do anything rash. Buzzing, Lu Li opened the golden door. He didn't linger. He checked the direction and flew toward the northeast. He snuck into the golden door and vanished into the ocean. What is that? The dozens of warriors looked at each other in confusion. How could he disappear into the golden door? They checked the surroundings with psychic power, but found no sign of Lu Li. He must have gone to a faraway place. Flying in the void. Is he the king of 1,000 changes? An old warrior murmured. Then he murmured coldly. The king of 1,000 changes is the second most wanted person on the Wu family's wanted list. He may be the king of 1,000 changes, but if the Wu family gets the news, he will be doomed. Whoosh, the old man was not in the same group as the caravan, so he immediately flew towards a nearby island. There was a small city there, and the Wu family's branch was there. This area belonged to the Wu family. If he could get the news out, he would be rewarded handsomely by the Wu family. At the very least, he could gain some benefits from the Wu family's territory. Lu Li was not far away from the Dragon King Island. But as soon as he came out, he began to tremble, and his body was askew, as if he was drunk. He complained to himself. Previously, He could last for an hour when he used the dragon skill. This time, he didn't fly too far and didn't spend too much time. He didn't expect that the period of weakness would come so soon. I think my body is too weak. The dragon skill was too strong. If one's body was not strong enough, they would not be able to stand it. Luli used psychic power to check and flew quickly. He found a small island nearby. He didn't have much time to think. He flew down and let out the daughter of the Saint King. She set up some runes to protect him. Then he fell asleep. Luli would be weak when the period of weakness of the dragon skill was over, not to mention that it had just been flying. He could not stand it any longer and fell asleep. If there was an Asmodean warrior nearby, he would have to admit defeat. Blood Fairy began to work at once. Fortunately, there were no powerful warriors nearby. Soon, she built a formation of illusion to change the situation on the island. Then, she began to build a formation of confusion. In this way, even if someone were to attack, the island could last for a while. A day later, the formation of confusion was ready. When Blood Fairy was about to build formations of destruction and entrapment, a man flew over from the distance. It was an old man with a hunchback. He was fast, but Blood Fairy could not tell what realm he was at. That being said, he was as fast as a warrior at the later stage of the fourth tribulation. He flew past quickly, not paying attention to the island. When he passed by the island, he suddenly stopped. He looked back and stared at the island with suspicion. It was obvious that he had discovered the divine rune illusion on the small island. The island was small, so small that there was nothing on it. No one would live in seclusion on an island like this. The sudden appearance of runes here, and a high-level one at that, naturally attracted the attention of the old man. The old man flew over and circled around the island. The daughter of the Saint King was nervous. There were still runes that had not been built. The formation of illusion and confusion would not last long. She was right. After a long period of time, the old man finally made his move. His palms gently blasted downwards as a gigantic palm imprint blasted towards the divine inscriptions. The illusory formation and bewildering formation below instantly shone with a brilliant light, almost shattered by that palm strike. The daughter of the Saint King patted Lu Li's face and shook him. Nothing happened. Lu Li's soul was too weak. He would not wake up for a while. Boom! The old man slapped again. The runes broke. The old man saw Lu Li and the daughter of the Saint King, who were in a coma. When the old man saw the daughter of the Saint King, he was stunned. Chapter 2444. Whoosh! The old man dashed over like a wolf. His skinny hand reached for the Saint King's daughter's neck. The Saint King's daughter was beautiful and had an otherworldly temperament. She was weak, and there was no human emotion in her eyes. Even so, she was more attractive to the old man. The old man's lust was aroused. He wanted to take the Saint King's daughter. Therefore, he did not use strong attacks. Instead, he reached out his hand, trying to control the Saint King's daughter. Blood Fairy did not know much. All she knew was that the old man was going to attack them. Naturally, she had to fight back. She reached out her beautiful hand and smashed at the old man's chest. The old man saw that the Saint King's daughter's move was not powerful. He was not worried at all. His hand reached for the Saint King's daughter's neck. Before his hand could reach the Saint King's daughter's neck, the Saint King's daughter's hand had landed on the old man's chest. Bang! The old man felt a surge of strength. A streak of white energy came out from the Saint King's daughter's hand. That streak of energy cracked the armor on the old man's chest. His chest caved in as well. The old man was smashed away. Blood oozed out from his mouth. He was stunned. He did not expect that this delicate-looking girl could be so strong. He generated a hand and smashed down. Fearing that the hand would hurt Lu Li, Blood Fairy did not hesitate. She flew up and slapped at the hand with her small hand. Bang! The Sacred Emperor's daughter was slapped down heavily. However, the palm on top of her was shattered. Seeing that the Saint King's daughter was protecting Lu Li, the old man used the hand again. Bang, 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 bang. The Saint King's daughter flew up again and again, only to be smashed down again and again. The old man grinned with disdain. He did not use any other skills. He just kept slapping. He wanted to see how many attacks the Saint King's daughter could take. She was such a delicate girl, being smashed down again and again. The old man felt a strange sense of satisfaction. Boom, boom, boom. After being smashed away for dozens of times, her hand finally broke. She had to use her other hand to protect herself. The old man sneered and said, "Little beauty, how many hands do you have? You're no match for me. Stop struggling and follow me obediently. I'll bring you good food and drinks." The Holy Emperor's daughter couldn't speak. Even if Blood Fairy could control the Holy Emperor's daughter to speak, she wouldn't respond. The old man stood in the air, slamming his palms down again and again. He wanted to injure the daughter of the sacred emperor before capturing her. Boom, boom, boom. After several dozen more palm strikes, both of the Holy Emperor's daughter's hands were broken. Although they could slowly recover, she was unable to move her hands at the moment, so her battle prowess was naturally greatly reduced. It was obvious that this old man was a fifth tribulation expert. Even the daughter of a sacred emperor couldn't withstand a casual palm strike. If it was the daughter of a peak fourth tribulation sacred emperor, she definitely wouldn't be injured. Xiao, the elder, charged down like a wolf, grabbing at the Saint Emperor's daughter again. The Saint Emperor's daughter's arms were broken, so she could only leap up and kick at the elder's chest. One of the old man's hands glowed as a huge metal glove appeared. He grabbed at the Saint Emperor's daughter. The Saint Emperor's daughter's legs were grabbed by the old man, and she could not get rid of them. The old man grinned obscenely. Looking at the Saint Emperor's daughter's long legs, he said, "What beautiful legs. You shouldn't be using them to kick people." The Saint Emperor's daughter tried her best to struggle. However, she realized that she was like a little lamb under the huge hand. She could not get rid of it. "Master, master!" Blood Fairy called out to Lu Li again and again. She had no other choice but to hope that Lu Li could wake up soon. However, Lu Li was too weak this time. No matter how hard she tried, he wouldn't wake up. "You want to ask your lover to help you?" Noticing that the Saint Emperor's daughter would look at Lu Li from time to time, the old man grinned coldly. "Then I will kill your lover first, so that you won't have any more thoughts." Swish! A long saber appeared in the old man's hand. He swung the saber and hacked at Lu Li. A long and narrow ray of sword light whooshed down and landed on Lu Li's body. Lu Li was fine, but the island was split open. A deep crack appeared in the middle of the island. Lu Li fell into the ravine. Even though he fell into the ravine and was swallowed by the seawater, Lu Li did not wake up. The old man was surprised again. How come Lu Li was not injured? How strong was his body? Was there any treasure? The old man dragged the Saint Emperor's daughter down. He wanted to take Lu Li down as well and take all of them away. He flew down quickly and came to Lu Li's side. The old man took out a dark blue dagger. The dagger was covered in dense patterns and glowed. Clearly, it was a piece of treasure. The old man stabbed at Lu Li's neck. However, at that moment, a bead in Lu Li's hand glowed. A huge beast came out and dashed toward the old man in a flash. Lu Li opened his eyes as well. A piece of metal appeared in his other hand. He poured divine energy into it and smashed at the old man's head. That was right. As a matter of fact, Lu Li had woken up just now. He was weak, but Blood Fairy's repeated calls woke him up. When he woke up, he did not open his eyes or show any signs of abnormality. Instead, he quietly used the trace of the Great Path to check. Just now, when the old man attacked him, he did not do anything. This was the moment he had been waiting for. Under normal circumstances, he would not be able to kill a warrior of the fifth tribulation. He only had one chance, and that was this sneak attack. If he could not kill this old man, then both he and Blood Fairy would have to die. The old man's attention was attracted by Master Spectre. After all, Master Spectre's energy was strong. Lu Li was delighted. He swung the metal and smashed at the old man's head. Everything was perfect. Lu Li's plan was on point. That being said, he had underestimated the reaction of a warrior of the fifth tribulation and the old man's experience. The old man glanced at the Master of Apparition and then looked away. He glared at Lu Li coldly. In his hand appeared a piece of treasure that looked like a shield. When he mobilized divine energy, the shield glowed. It was a fragment of a holy weapon. Bang! Lu Li's mystical iron smashed on the half of the shield. A burst of horrifying energy blasted out. The small island that already had a huge ravine on it was shattered at this moment. The sea was tumbling, and a tsunami was created. The old man snorted. Ignoring Master of Spectre, he swung the dagger backward at Lu Li's chest. It was so fast that Lu Li could not dodge. He could only watch as the dagger went through his chest. Lu Li did not use the skill of dragon. Strong as he was, he could not stand the dagger. His skin was cut open. If it were not for the fact that his bones were the shield, he would have been cut in half. Even so, deep cracks had appeared on a few of his bones. Bang! Chapter 2445. I am doomed. Lu Li spat out mouthfuls of blood. He was already weak. Now that he was injured, he was even weaker. That was his only chance. If he could not kill or injure this old man, he would not have another chance. That fifth tribulation warrior would not give him another chance. As he had expected, the old Asmodean caught up. He put away his dagger and took out a saber to hack at Lu Li. The ray of sword light kept coming, and Lu Li was smashed away. The Sacred Emperor's daughter's other leg kept kicking at the 5 Tribulation Elder. However, the old Asmodean's hand was shaking. The daughter of Holy King missed every time. Even if she did land a kick, it would not do much harm to the old man. The daughter of Holy King's strength was mainly in her hand. Her legs were not strong. Lu Li was smashed away again and again. Even though the attacks from the saber were not particularly ferocious, Lu Li was wounded again and again. He spat out blood. Whoosh, whoosh, Lu Li tried to approach the old Asmodean again, and so did the Phantom King. But he was smashed away by the old Asmodean every time. A 5th Tribulation Warrior was not the same as a 4th Tribulation Warrior. Any random attack from the old Asmodean could make Lu Li feel powerless. Lu Li thought about flying in the void as well. However, if he did that, what would happen to Blood Fairy? The old Asmodean would attack the Golden Door. If he were to be smashed out by force, Lu Li might be strangled to death given how weak he was. The old Asmodean was experienced. He knew Lu Li was strange. Therefore, the old Asmodean chose a conservative strategy. He would attack from a distance and injure Lu Li first. Soon, the old Asmodean and Lu Li were covered with wounds. Lu Li put away the Phantom King and the Relic Iron. Comparatively speaking, the Phantom King was too weak. An adult Phantom King might be able to fight back, but an underage Phantom King could barely deal with the later stage of the 4th Tribulation. How could he hurt a 5th Tribulation Warrior? Boom, 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 boom. Lu Li was smashed away again and again. The old Asmodean's divine energy was different from regular ones. Some of the energy entered Lu Li's body and corroded his physical body and divine energy. Lu Li would become weaker and weaker. In the end, he could only wait for death. The Silver Flame Sea was dangerous, and Lu Li was prepared for it. There were many old demons here. Once he was alone, he would be killed. Lu Li just didn't expect this day to come so soon. Countless ideas flashed through Lu Li's mind. However, he realized that in the face of absolute power, all his schemes would be useless. In the face of a ferocious tiger, no matter how hard a rabbit hopped, it would be useless. Hiss! All of a sudden, the old freak changed his attack pattern and released a gentle gust of wind. These gusts of wind were like poisonous snakes that burrowed into Lu Li's body, weakening his physical body and suppressing his divine energy. Bang! The old monster put away the divine weapon in his hand and suddenly punched out. The fist turned into a series of fist shadows that continuously smashed towards Lu Li's head. He didn't just punch once, but more than 30 punches at the same time. Boom! Lu Li was already weak. After being punched so many times in a row, his head shook violently and he passed out. Blood Fairy sighed. She and Lu Li were like 2 babies in front of a 5th Tribulation Warrior. They were not at the same level. Sweetheart, I will kill your lover first, and then I will take you back and pamper you. The old devil lecherously looked at the Holy Emperor's daughter. Her perfect body and strange temperament made him very tempted. At this moment, his heart itched, and he wanted nothing more than to take her on the spot. Whoosh! Right at that moment, from the south came a noise. Then, a chariot flew over. It did not come in a straight line. Instead, it passed by. Whoosh! Behind the chariot came another chariot. The two chariots, one at the front and one at the back, carried two people. If Luli had not passed out, he would have recognized the four. What? The lady in the front chariot looked over with surprise. She did not look at Luli or the fifth tribulation warrior. Instead, she stared at the Holy King's daughter. There is something strange about this lady. An old man next to the woman glanced over and said curiously, "This woman isn't a living person, right? She is alive, but she has been dead for many years. She must have been possessed." Lady Chi, the old warrior, looked at Lu Li, who was in a coma, and said, "It is that man. You helped him on the battleship." Yes, they were Fire Rose and her escort. The one following them was the young master of the Wu family. Fire Rose turned to Lu Li. She thought for a while and said, "Kai, save him." Whoosh! The old warrior dashed over at once. The fifth tribulation demon had been paying attention to Lu Li. Seeing Kai flying over, the fifth tribulation demon narrowed his eyes. Instead of killing Lu Li, he said in a deep voice, "I am Sunshan Taoist. Do you want to be nosy?" "Piss off," Kai said coldly. A serrated saber appeared in his hand. He said coldly, "Leave the two of you here and piss off or die." Ha ha ha. Young Master Wu, who was on the chariot behind, had a rare opportunity to please Fire Rose. He laughed and flew over with the five tribulations guards. He locked his eyes on Taoist Yangshan and said, "I am Wu Yu Dao, Taoist Yangshan. Do me a favor and leave the two of you here." Yangshan Taoist was uncertain. He didn't mind leaving Luli behind, but he wanted the daughter of the Saint King. After a moment of hesitation, he said, "I can leave this man, but I must take the girl with me." "No," Kai answered coldly and firmly. The young master of the Wu family said with a smile, "See?" He said no. "If you keep hesitating, I will be angry." The young master of the Wu family was gentle but domineering. Yangshan Taoist knew that Wu Yu Dao had mentioned his name. With the fifth tribulation warrior, he must be a young master of the Wu family. Yangshan Taoist was not willing to accept the result, but he still let the daughter of the Saint King go. He cupped his fists and flew away. Kai flew down, trying to pick up Lu Li. The daughter of the Saint King flew down at once. She stayed by Lu Li's side and looked at Kai with alarm. "You are his slave, right?" Kai said emotionlessly, "Your master is in a coma. You cannot protect him anymore. Let's take him to a nearby city." Blood Fairy could not control the daughter of the Saint King to speak, but she could understand human language. She thought for a while and believed that these people would not hurt Lu Li, or else they would not have saved them. Kai picked Lu Li up, fed him a pellet, and took him to the chariot. The daughter of the Saint King followed him and stood next to Lu Li. "Huh." Fire Rose grinned at the daughter of the Saint King. The chariot flew on and soon vanished into the horizon. Wu Yu Dao said nothing. He controlled the chariot to follow. Chapter 2446. When Luli woke up, he was in the Dragon King city of the Dragon King Island. He had been sleeping for 5 days. When he woke up, he was weak. He used psychic power to check and found himself in a castle. Next to him was the daughter of the Saint King. Blood Fairy's voice sounded, "Master, you're awake." Luli did not move. He replied, "Blood Fairy, are we okay? Where are we?" "We have been saved," Blood Fairy replied. "The young lady on the battleship saved us. We are in a nearby city." The young lady on the battleship? Luli was surprised. He remembered Fire Rose. There were many girls on the battleship, but only Fire Rose could have saved him. Luli rested for a moment. He sat down and took out the elixir. Half a day later, he felt better. When he opened his eyes, he saw another person in the room. It was Fire Rose. Luli struggled to stand up. Fire Rose waved her hand and said, "Don't stand on ceremony. If I am right, you are a descendant of Saint Emperor Yin Tian, right?" Saint Emperor Yin Tian? Luli was confused. He thought about it and said, "I don't know which Saint Emperor it is, but she should be his daughter. The palace she lived in is called the Hall of Seven Notes. She is dead. One of my goblins has taken over her body." "That's it," Fire Rose nodded. She looked at the daughter of the Saint Emperor and said, "You can let your goblins study more." Saint Emperor Yin Tian came from a powerful race from the ancient times. The body is well preserved. It should not be so weak. If you can study it thoroughly, the body can be as strong as a warrior at the peak of the fifth tribulation. Lu Li's heart skipped a beat. He looked at Fire Rose in a different light. How could this girl know so much? Judging by her behavior, she did not have any intention of taking the body of the daughter of the Saint Emperor. It seemed she did not like it. This girl must either be strong or she was born in a super family. Luli nodded. Fire Rose waved her hand. "I have to go. Take care." Luli stood up at once. "Young lady, may I ask your name? If I have a chance and I have the ability, I will repay your kindness." Hee hee. Fire Rose smiled faintly. When she reached the door, she turned around and said, "A name is just a code. Don't you call me Fire Rose? Just call me Fire Rose from now on. As for repaying the debt of gratitude, if we're fated, we will naturally meet again. If not, then don't force it." The lady left, leaving behind a fragrant house. Luli cupped his fists and then sat down with his legs crossed to continue his healing. Since this was the Dragon King city, safety was not a problem. He should heal his wounds first. After recuperating for several days, everything was indeed peaceful. Many people on the warships had also arrived at the Dragon King city. They were all gathered at the Heavenly Flame Island's branch, waiting for arrangements. There was still no news of the battle on Heavenly Scorching Island. No one knew which side had won that battle. After several days of treatment, Luli felt better. He went out and found a branch at the Scorching Island. The people of the Heavenly Flame Island gave them two choices. They could either wait in the Dragon King city. The Heavenly Flame Island would definitely send a warship over, and they could board it to the Soaring Fire Continent. The second choice was compensation, according to a certain ratio. For example, Luli could pay half of the Divine Stones. Luli didn't need the Divine Stones. All he wanted was to arrive at the Soaring Fire Continent safely. What happened to Yangshan Taoist made him understand the dangers of the Silver Flame Sea. Eventually, he decided to wait at the Dragon King Island. What gave him a headache was that the people of the Heavenly Flame Island branch did not know when the next warship would arrive. Due to the 3 people attacking the warship, the Heavenly Flame Island branch was in a state of chaos. The warships that left behind had all returned. Before the Scorching Island had a clear picture of the situation, they wouldn't act rashly. What if their warships were destroyed again and again? That would be a blow to the reputation of the Scorching Island. That being said, the branch was considerate. They arranged for Lu Li and the others to stay in a luxurious tavern. All the expenses were covered by them until the warships arrived. The Dragon King city was not one of the 5 forces, but the city master was famous. He was a notorious devil in the Silver Flame Sea called Demon Long. Once, this devil fought against 5 powerful warriors of the Lord Realm on his own. He killed 3 of them and made a name for himself. Later, this devil conquered the Dragon King city, married and had children. He built a big family here. Now, he cultivated himself and didn't fight with others. Of course, nobody dared to provoke him. Not even the 5 forces dared to provoke him. This devil had a powerful skill. If he was not killed at once, there would be endless troubles in the future. Today, there was a group of special guests in the City Master's mansion. It was the 3rd son of the Demon Long, the City Master of the Dragon King city. The guests were some patriarchs of the Wu family, and one of them was a patriarch with real power. Patriarch Wu Qing, how come you have time to come to the Dragon King Island? Long Gang, the 3rd son of the Demon Long, said with a smile after tea was served. You must be here for something important. Yes. Wu Qing nodded and said, we are here to trouble you, City Master Long. We are here to capture a man. He is in the Dragon King city. Oh, Long Gang's expression grew solemn. He asked, do you have any information about this man? Are you sure he has entered the Dragon King city? Do you know where he is? Wu Qing shook his head and said, we only received news that the successor of the king of 1,000 transformations has appeared. According to the information, This man should have entered the Dragon King city. That's why we are here to trouble you, City Master Long, the successor of the king of 1,000 transformations. Long Gang's expression changed. He pondered for a moment and said, "You should know how cruel the king of 1,000 transformations is. If he knows that we helped you kill his successor, it will bring endless troubles to the Dragon King Island. Moreover, you don't know where he is. If you wantonly search for him in the Dragon King city, it will affect the reputation of the city." Wu Qing and the other patriarchs' expressions turned ugly after hearing Long Gang's words. They came here to ask for Long Gang's help. Looking at the situation, not only did Long Gang not help them, but he also wanted to stop them. Long Gang took a sip of tea and said, "How about this? You search secretly and tell us when you take action. After you kill this man, cooperate with us. Don't expose your identity. I will send someone to capture you and then leave quietly. How about it?" Wu Qing and the others still had ugly expressions. Long Gang didn't give them much face. They were from the Wu clan, and Yang Di stood behind them. However, Long Gang didn't give them face. What could they do? They couldn't make a scene in the city. It would anger old Demon Long. Although the Wu clan wasn't afraid, it wasn't in their interest. "All right." Wu Qing stood up and said, City Master Long's suggestion. "Find this man first. Once you find him, take action immediately and try to kill him in seconds. Then we will surrender and leave quietly." Chapter 2447. Lu Li settled down in a tavern arranged by the Scorching Islands branch. It was a small castle for each person. Lu Li activated the inhibition formation and asked Blood Fairy to set up the runes. Judging by what the Scorching Island warriors said, it would be months or even a year before the Scorching Islands battleships would arrive. Therefore, Lu Li decided to cultivate for a while. The Silver Flames sea was dangerous. He dared not to wander around on his own. Even the Scorching Islands battleships were attacked. If he were to run into another Mount Sun, he would not be so lucky. Not every time would Fire Rose come to his rescue. His soul was still weak. He needed some time to rest. While consuming the elixirs, Lu Li began to study the law of sound. He had been studying the formation of sound for a long time, but he did not make much progress. He knew that such a powerful law could not be learned overnight. If he was unlucky or had poor understanding, he might not be able to master it for the rest of his life. Blood Fairy began to study the body of the daughter of Holy King after she finished the 2 runes. Fire Rose said that the daughter of Holy King was not only as strong as she appeared to be. If she could learn it thoroughly, the daughter of Holy King could unleash her strongest abilities. She might be able to fight against the peak of the 5th tribulation. Holy King Yantian? He must have been a powerful holy king in the ancient times, a member of a special race. For now, the daughter of Holy King could only rely on her physical attacks. If she could release the skills of her race, she would be much more powerful. Blood Fairy was studying the ancient runes as well. Only by comprehending the primordial divine imprints would one be able to refine ancient treasures. That bugle horn was extremely powerful, and there was also that ancient painting. When Lu Li fought against Mount Sun, he did not use the painting because Mount Sun had been attacking from a distance. He was smart and cautious. The painting was strong, but it could only be used for defense, not offense. If Lu Li could take control of it, he might be able to release powerful skills. Soon, 5 days passed. It was peaceful outside. More and more people arrived at Dragon King City. They either received the divine stones as compensation or stayed in inns arranged by the people of Scorching Island. Patriarch Wu Qing and the others began a secret investigation. Their targets were those who disembarked from the battleships and arrived at the Dragon King City. This was easy. Basically, they could get the information by bribing the people in the taverns. Wu Qing and the others were eliminated one by one. Several days later, Lu Li was identified. Since Lu Li flew away from the battleship, he never changed his mask or makeup. Therefore, he was recognized easily. Even though they had found out, Wu Qing and the others didn't take action right away because the tavern Lu Li was staying in was run by the Scorching Island. The people of the Flaming Island branch lived next to the inn. Once there was any disturbance, the people here would know. The branch leader here was a fifth tribulation expert. Wu Qing was not afraid of this fifth tribulation expert. The 4 elders who came were all fifth tribulation experts, and his battle prowess was also very tyrannical. Wu Qing was confident that he could kill the experts from Heavenly Flame Island. The problem was that if he killed them, he would become enemies with Heavenly Flame Island. Heavenly Flame Island was also one of the 5 major forces. He could not make enemies with them so easily. Luli was living in there. It would be difficult for him to convince the Scorching Island warriors to cooperate with him. First of all, the Heavenly Scorching Island had a grudge against them. They might not necessarily give them face. Secondly, the Heavenly Scorching Island had just been in trouble. Their reputation was in crisis. If something were to happen again, how could the Heavenly Scorching Island establish itself in the Silver Flame Sea? Therefore, they cannot do it openly. Otherwise, the Heavenly Scorching Island would not be able to step down. By then, they would have to fight with the Wu family. In the end, neither side would be able to step down. They could not do it openly. They had to do it secretly. Since the tavern was close to the branch, they must find a way to move the powerful warriors of the Scorching Island out of the city, no matter what. At least, the 5th Tribulation Warrior must be lured away. Wu Qing and the others discussed for several days and came up with several strategies. In the end, they chose the most reliable one, bribing the Scorching Island, spreading false information, and luring the 5th Tribulation Warrior out of the city. As long as they were out of the city, everything else would be easy. The Wu family would kill Lu Li at once. According to the information they received, Lu Li was not particularly powerful. Even a warrior at the peak of the 4th Tribulation could hurt him. Anyone of Wu Qing and the others could kill him easily. The bribing went smoothly. They picked a target and made sure that he was the type that could be bought over easily. They gave him a large number of divine stones and promised him that as long as he escaped to the territory of the Wu family would protect him. That person was just a small fry at the Scorching Island, and he was greedy. The Wu family was a powerful force. Since the Wu family promised to protect him, then he had nothing to worry about. 10 days later, a piece of news almost blew the branch of the Scorching Island up. According to the news, a secret island near the Scorching Island was attacked by a group of people. That island was a place with resources and treasures of the Scorching Island that outsiders did not know about. How could the branch not be angry that the place was under attack? The branch leader gathered the powerful warriors here and gave them some instructions. Then, he flew up with his men and rushed out of the city. What's going on? How come all the warriors of the Scorching Island are gone? Did something happen again? Did some battleships come over and they were attacked again? What is going on at the Scorching Island recently? Is it an unlucky year, or is someone trying to destroy them? Many people in the tavern were not cultivating. They noticed that something was not right at once. They began to discuss about it. The entire tavern was in an uproar. Blood Fairy had been monitoring the situation outside. When she noticed the noise in the tavern, she stopped searching for the daughter of the Saint King and paid close attention. Something is wrong. All of a sudden, Blood Fairy noticed that 2 people had sneaked into the tavern and were heading toward the castle where they were staying. Blood Fairy was alarmed by the murderous intent. She woke Luli up at once. "Master, some strangers are coming," Blood Fairy said. Luli activated the trace of Tao at once. He sensed that the 2 powerful warriors were approaching. Their energy was as profound as the ocean. Luli sensed that something was not right. No matter where they came from or what forces they were from, they must be here for Luli. Did someone from a Scorching Island go out all of a sudden? Was there a connection between the 2? Either way, Luli could not take the risk. He made up his mind at once. Run. Amidst the sparks, Luli made up his mind. He began to draw a formation in the void at once. At the same time, he said to Blood Fairy, "Deactivate the runes and deactivate the inhibition formations in the room." Blood Fairy would not disobey Luli's orders. She deactivated the runes and the inhibition formations at once. Luli finished drawing the formation in the void. He put away the daughter of the Saint King and let out the Phantom King. Roar, roar, the Phantom King bellowed. He leaped up and the castle fell apart. The Phantom King flew up to the sky and roared into the sky. Then, he dashed toward the two warriors coming at him. Sacrifice the rook to save the king. Luli had no other choice. There were two warriors of the fifth tribulation. If he did not let the Phantom King out, he would not be able to escape. The golden door would collapse. By then, Luli would be seriously injured or even killed. Buzzing. Chapter 2448. Woo woo woo. The Phantom King's roar resounded throughout the entire city. The Dragon King city was very big, and there were many experts and martial artists in the city. Countless people were alarmed by the roar. Many people were alerted by psychic power. The two Wu family warriors had to fight back. Their attacks were ferocious. After several moves, they killed Phantom Master. After all, they were warriors of the fifth tribulation. It was easy for them to kill Phantom Master. Violence was forbidden in the city. Now that someone was using force in the city and had attracted the attention of the entire city, the Long family had to respond. 7 or 8 powerful warriors flew out from several castles to the north and rushed over. Just as they had planned, the two patriarchs of the Wu family surrendered and went back with them. They had to go back because the powerful warriors of the Scorching Island would be back soon. By then, the Scorching Island would know who they were. They were not afraid of the Scorching Island's branch because the Scorching Island's warriors were much more powerful. However, once the matter was brought to light, the Scorching Island would demand an explanation from the Wu family. He got away. Patriarch Wu Qing had been hiding nearby. At that moment, they were distracted by Phantom Master. By the time they went to check on Lu Li, the golden door had disappeared. Patriarch Wu Qing regretted. He should have attacked by force. The patriarchs smashed the castle, so Lu Li had no time to fly away. The Wu family knew about the void traversal skill very well. It was a skill that was amazing, but it could only be activated for one breath. If they attacked before it was activated, Lu Li would not be able to escape. They had thought that Lu Li had activated the inhibition formation and that he was in closed-door cultivation. But they heard that Lu Li was injured. What was more, this was the territory of the Scorching Island. That was why they decided to sneak up and kill him. Little did they expect that Lu Li would notice and fly away in advance. Go! Wu Qing and Patriarch Wu didn't care about the two captured warriors anymore. The Long family wouldn't make things difficult for them. They left the city quickly and ran toward the north. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. As soon as Wu Qing and Patriarch Wu Qing left the island, the powerful warriors of the Scorching Island came back. On their way back, they were informed that the Resource Island was not under attack. The branch master knew that they had been lured away and hurried back. As expected, as soon as he returned, he found out that 2 mysterious rankers had entered the inn. Fortunately, they had only killed 1 beast, and there were no casualties. The branch leader of the Heavenly Flame Island went to the City Lord's mansion to see who was so daring. How dare they cause trouble in the Heavenly Flame Island branch? They even dared to lure them away. Who knew that when they arrived at the City Lord's mansion, they would be informed that the 2 of them had released an extremely powerful sacred art. They didn't pay attention to it for a moment and allowed the 2 of them to escape with their blood escape. The branch leader of the Heavenly Flame Island Division was enraged. He was not an idiot. Naturally, he knew that there was something fishy going on, especially when the experts of the Dragon King City went over. The 2 of them immediately surrendered, and then they were told that the 2 had escaped. Only a fool would believe that there was no conspiracy behind this. However, Heavenly Scorching Island had been unstable recently, so nothing major had happened in the inn. Only a battle beast had been slain and a castle had been destroyed. Since they hadn't fallen out with each other and Heavenly Scorching Island had managed to keep its face, the branch leader didn't pursue the matter further. He was very clear about one thing. To be able to mobilize the Long family to cooperate with them, it must be a superpower. They lured the tiger away from the mountain so that they wouldn't fall out with him. Such being the case, there was no point in dragging this matter on. Otherwise, both sides would be embarrassed. Of course, the branch leader would investigate this matter in secret. Once it was clear, they would demand an explanation and some benefits. Whoosh! Wu Qing and the three patriarchs flew toward the north, searching for Lu Li. At the same time, they sent messages to all the nearby Wu family, their affiliated forces, and the small forces that were on good terms with them. They spread out a wide net to search for Lu Li. The crippled Zen master had killed many warriors of the Wu family. Now that his successor had come to the Silver Flame Sea, how could the Wu family not hunt him down? What happened in the past aside, what good could the successor of the King of Thousand Changes be doing here? He must be here to make trouble or to seek revenge. The Wu family was the king of the central part of the Silver Flame Sea. It could even be said that the Wu family was the most powerful force in the entire Silver Flame Sea. Back then, Sunlight Emperor became famous after he killed Emperor Z. Nobody dared to challenge him at the Silver Flame Sea. Since the family patriarch was the most powerful, the Wu family would be the most powerful as well. The Wu family was influential in the Silver Flame Sea as well. Many small families attached themselves to the Wu family for protection. As Wu Qing's orders spread out, many families and forces nearby swarmed to search for Lu Li in an area with a radius of hundreds of millions of miles. It was the first time Lu Li flew across the void. He was not noticed. He did not stop and flew away again. When he flew out of the void for the third time, he was discovered by the nearby scouts. It is the successor of the King of Thousand Changes. It just so happened that there was a team of warriors nearby. Seeing Lu Li coming out from the void, they screamed and dashed toward Lu Li. Lu Li pulled a long face. Judging by their tone, they were here to hunt him down. He did not continue to fly through the void. His body flashed, and he rushed over, raising his fist and smashing it. Boom, boom, boom. Only 8 warriors came over, all of them at the third tribulation. Lu Li killed 7 of them with one punch and grabbed the last one. Lu Li shouted coldly, "Who told you to hunt me down? I will make you wish you were dead if you don't tell me." Ha ha ha. The warrior was tough. He laughed and said, "I don't mind telling you. The Wu family has sent a message. The entire central region of the Silver Flame Sea is searching for you. You cannot get away. Just wait for your death." Wu family? Sunlight. Lu Li's heart was weighed down. He knew about the feud between Sunlight and Emperor Z and how the crippled Zen master killed many warriors of the Wu family. Lu Li was once worried that the Wu family would come after him. He was the only one who could fly in the void. What he didn't expect was that the day had come so soon. Bang! After smashing him away, Lu Li continued to fly across the void. Before the net was set up and before the Wu family sent a large group of powerful warriors over, he should keep flying and try to get as far away as he could. He didn't fly to the north. The Wu family must have learned that he was going to the flying fire land on the battleship of the Scorching Island. Therefore, the Wu family must have stationed many scouts and powerful warriors at the north. Lu Li chose to fly to the northwest. He had made up his mind that as long as he ran in his scouts and warriors, he would kill them all. He could not tarnish the reputation of the crippled Zen master. Also, he wanted to send a message to the small families and forces that if they wanted to help the Wu family hunt him down, they would have to pay the price. He was right. Along the way, he would run into scouts and warriors. As soon as Lu Li saw them, he would kill them all. During the 3 days, Lu Li flew across the void dozens of times and killed more than 3,000 warriors. The ocean nearby was dyed red. Chapter 2449. Back in the days, Emperor Z caused quite a stir in the Silver Flame Sea. After he became an emperor, Emperor Z wandered around the third heaven, looking for treasured lands to refine his body. He wanted to reach the Saint King realm. Emperor Z was short-tempered. He entered a land of treasured lands in the Silver Flame Sea where there were powerful flames of destruction. But it was also a land of resources that could nurture many elixirs. That was the territory of the Wu family. Emperor Z hid his identity and talked to the warriors of the Wu family. He wanted to go there and refine his body. He promised the Wu family some divine stones and treasures. The Wu family was a family of emperors. They had always been overbearing in the Silver Flame Sea. How could they allow Emperor Z to go there? There were many elixirs in there. When Emperor Z revealed his identity, the patriarch of the guards was still arrogant. He thought Emperor Z was using his power to oppress others and wanted to take away their land. They started to quarrel. Emperor Z killed in a fit of anger. Once someone died, the two sides could not be reconciled. Later on, a war broke out. In the end, Sunlight and another emperor killed Emperor Z. The crippled Zen master was one of Emperor Z's generals. There were 5 other generals. Hearing that Emperor Z was killed, the 6 of them dashed into the Silver Flame Sea and started a killing spree. The 5 of them were all killed. Only the crippled Zen master managed to escape by using the void traversing technique. The crippled Zen master had also killed countless warriors and experts. During that time, the entire Silver Flame Sea was covered with dead bodies. At least tens of millions were injured or dead, including countless powerful warriors. It had been many years since the incident. The crippled Zen master never showed up again. Many people thought he was dead. That being said, the master of 1,000 transformations was still famous in the Silver Flame Sea. Back in the days, he was a man that even Sunlight could not track down. The master of 1,000 transformations was famous. He once snuck into the base camp of the Wu family and left after a killing spree. After such a long time, the descendant of the master of 1,000 transformations showed up. The news spread across the Silver Flame Sea. Many families that held grudges against the crippled Zen master swarmed toward the central region. They wanted to nail his descendant to the cliff of sins and make him a companion of Emperor Z. News of Lu Li's bloody massacre spread out. In just 10 days, more than 10,000 scouts and warriors that went after Lu Li had lost their lives. All the warriors that encountered Lu Li were killed if they were not powerful enough. Powerful warriors could not travel all over the world. They would only stay in one place. Naturally, the ones searching the world were average warriors and scouts. They could not stop Lu Li. Lu Li's bloody massacre did not frighten the small families and forces in the central region. Instead, they were enraged. The Silver Flame Sea region was in a mess and people were tough. The more Lu Li killed, the angrier they would be. What was more, the crippled Zen master had slaughtered on a large scale. They were worried that if they didn't kill Lu Li would seek revenge. By that time, Lu Li could make his way to their forces and families, which could lead to their annihilation. The Wu family sent out an announcement. Anyone who could kill Lu Li would be rewarded with a fragment of a holy weapon, billions of divine stones, and a chance to enter the primitive mystery realm. After this news spread out, many old demons in the Silver Flame Sea region went crazy. Holy weapon fragments were nothing. In ancient times, when the third heaven changed and all the holy emperors were wiped out, hundreds of holy weapons were shattered, and there were plenty of holy weapon fragments in the sea. The old demons had plenty of divine stones. They could kill some people and ransack some small forces. What drove the old demons crazy was the chance to enter the primitive mystery realm. The primitive mystery realm was the most powerful one. Even though the emperors did not occupy it, the old demons did not have the chance to go in. The emperors had set the rule that only those below 10,000 years old could go in. Every year, the major forces would have a small number of spots. Now, in order to kill Lu Li, the Wu family was willing to give up one spot. Many of the old demons were stuck. If they could go into the primitive mystery realm, they might be able to make a breakthrough. Many old demons swarmed toward the area where Lu Li appeared. The Wu family didn't send out too many powerful warriors, only 10 patriarchs, including Wu Qing. After all, Lu Li was just the successor of the Lord of 1,000 transformations. The Wu family would not send out too many powerful warriors. Neither would Sunlight Emperor. That would be a disgrace to Lu Li. It was said that Lu Li was only a warrior of the fourth tribulation. The Wu family had shown enough respect by sending out 10 patriarchs. As a super family, the Wu family had demonstrated its influence. Anything they could offer could drive many old demons crazy. Lu Li felt the pressure. He had killed many people recently. That being said, every time he flew out from the void, he would be surrounded by people. Even though there were just some minor warriors and scouts, there were more of them. Lu Li was troubled. There were too many warriors in the Silver Flame Sea. He could not kill them all. It was not important whether he could kill them or not. What was important was that his whereabouts would be tracked down. In that case, the Wu family could easily set up traps nearby. As more powerful warriors came, the chances of him running into more powerful warriors would increase as well. Should I find a dangerous place to hide? Lu Li thought of the Cursed Land. If there was a dangerous place nearby, he could hide there. The thing was, he didn't know much about the Silver Flame Sea. I will find someone to interrogate him. Lu Li made up his mind. Once again, he flew into the void. There happened to be 4 warriors nearby. Lu Li killed 3 of them and took the last one into the separation bead. That warrior said coldly with pride, "Successor, the Lord of 1,000 transformations, you cannot run away. There are old demons all around. They are from the central region, and they are searching for you. You will be captured soon, and you will be crucified on the cliff of sins. The Wu family has posted a reward. You cannot escape death, even if you run to the ends of the world." Buzzing, Lu Li didn't want to waste his time. He released the worms of the void. After a moment, the warrior was on his knees, begging for mercy. Lu Li told him about the Wu family and the nearby areas. Boom! Lu Li killed the warrior and flew to the east. He wanted to go to a dangerous place to see if he could hide for a while. Emperor Z once went there. For most people, it was a dangerous place, but for Lu Li, it could be a land of treasure. Of course, the premise was that Lu Li could survive. That place also had the flames of destruction, but there were fewer of them. Later, Emperor Z found the land of treasure of the Wu family. The flames of destruction was one of the most horrifying flames in the world. It was said that the flames of destruction fell from the sky, and the temperature was frightening. Not even lords dared to go to the central area of the flames of destruction. Only those of the Emperor realm could stay there. Lu Li had been looking for such a land of treasure. Now that so many old demons were after him, he flew to the void without any hesitation. He changed his direction and managed to avoid the powerful warriors at the north. Lu Li had been heading toward the northwest, which was filled with old demons and scouts. There were fewer warriors at the east. Chapter 2450. The Blazing Island was famous in the Silver Flame Sea. It was a famous, dangerous place. Apart from emperors, nobody dared to go to the center of the island. It was said that there were supreme elixirs in the center of the island. Thousands of years ago, an emperor once went there and obtained some. It had only been a few thousand years. Even the elixirs hadn't matured yet. Was that why nobody had gone in all these years? Was it a suicide mission? Lu Li's sudden change of direction had rendered the trap set up by the old demons useless. By the time they realized it and teleported to the Blazing Island, it was already too late. Lu Li's speed was fast. The distance was not that far. After dozens of rounds, Lu Li had arrived at the Blazing Island. Before he got close to the Blazing Island, Lu Li already felt the temperature was rising. He saw a black dot in the distance, at least tens of thousands of miles away. If the temperature here was already so high, how high would the temperature be around here? There was white mist nearby. Clearly, the seawater nearby was evaporating. Therefore, there were waves surging toward the Blazing Island because the seawater there was evaporating. Lu Li flew over quickly. With so many old demons coming from the center of the Silver Flame Sea, Lu Li didn't dare to fly away. He was lucky that he didn't run into any old demons. Good luck would not last forever. If he kept flying, he would only end up dead. After the time for one incense stick to burn, Lu Li arrived at the periphery of the Blazing Island. He had a clear view of the island. It was a large island with a radius of hundreds of thousands of miles. There were no flowers or trees on the island, only flames. The entire island was enveloped in flames. Looking from afar, the island looked like a huge fireball. The flames at the periphery rose to a height of more than 2 miles, enveloping the entire island. The outermost flames were blue, and the color was very deep, so the entire island looked very gorgeous, like a beautiful giant blue rose. Lu Li and the scout learned something about the Blazing Island. There were 6 colors of flames on the island. The flames at the center were more terrifying. The black flames at the center were the flames of destruction. Even Emperor Z was searching for the flames to refine his body. It was not hard to imagine how powerful the flames were. Luli stood at the periphery of the blue flames. He was hesitating. Standing at the periphery, he felt hot and his back was drenched in sweat. The power of the flames was not to be underestimated. It was impossible for him to enter the deepest part. He would be thankful if he could enter the fourth or fifth layer. Could the fourth and fifth layers of flames stop those old demons? What if a Lord-level old demon came? More importantly, Luli sensed that the space inside the blazing island was not fluctuating. The space was not stable. He was afraid that he could not fly across the void after he went in. While Luli was wandering around the island, the space in the distance began to tremble. Luli looked up and saw a black gate. Without any hesitation, he dashed into the island like an arrow. As soon as he stepped into the area of blue flames, Luli's hair, beard, and armor were on fire. His skin was burning as well, but his body was not burned. The flames on the outside could not hurt him. Someone has entered the island. It should be the 1,000 transformations inheritor. Chase after him and kill him. The portal was opened. Wu Qing came out with several patriarchs. By the time they came out, Luli had just entered the island. Usually, people wouldn't go to the blazing island to suffer for no reason. They checked with psychic power but could not tell Luli's realm, which meant that he was wearing the 1,000 transformations mask. Luli moved at a moderate pace. Soon, he crossed the area of blue flames and entered the area of orange flames. The temperature here was much higher. Luli's armor could not stand it any longer. He was only wearing a pair of fire-resistant shorts. He strode on barefoot. The flames here were burning his skin, but they were not enough to hurt him. He marched on. In the time for more than a dozen breaths, he arrived at the third layer of flames. The flames here had turned red, dark red. As soon as Luli went in, he was swallowed up by the flames. Hiss, hiss, this time Luli could not stand it anymore. The flames began to burn his body. Black smoke rose from him, and he smelled burnt flesh. During this time, Luli had consumed hundreds of elixirs, and his physical body had improved a lot. In the Hall of Seven Tones, he had been burned for a long time. His body had become resistant to fire. Not even a warrior at the later stage of the Fourth Tribulation Realm was as strong as Luli's. How strong could the flames that could burn him be? Even though he was being burned, Luli did not stop. The flames could only hurt him, not kill him. His body was repairing itself. If he could not, he could take some healing pellets to survive. He moved on. He saw the purple flames up ahead. This time, he did not go in rashly. He believed that he would be burned to death if he did not use the dragon weaving skill. Not even a warrior at the Fifth Tribulation could stand the flames for long. Luli sat with his legs crossed at the edge, healing himself. The fact that the flames could burn him was actually helping him to refine his body. He believed that as long as he could hang on for a while, he would be able to stand the red flames. By then, his body would be improved. Luli activated the trace of Tao and waited quietly. He believed that those who opened the spatial gate must be here to hunt him down. He was waiting for them to come in. Buzzing, Luli tried to use the heaven separation bead to let the daughter of Saint King out. As he had expected, the space here was trembling so much that the interspatial artifact could not be used. He tried to draw a formation in the void, but the golden door could not take shape. He could not fly in the void. Whoosh! Not long afterward, 6 people came. All of them dashed into the blazing island. Wu Qing and the other patriarchs had locked onto Luli with psychic power. 6 warriors at the Fifth Tribulation, and one of them is as strong as Dan Xiaodeng. Luli complained to himself. The Emperor's family was resourceful. They could send out warriors at the Fifth Tribulation. That being said, in a super family like this, to become a patriarch, one must be at least at the Fifth Tribulation. Before the 5 came, Luli used the dragon weaving skill and dashed into the area of purple flames. As soon as he was in, he was on fire. He was trembling because of the pain. He almost fell to the ground. It was fortunate that he had used the dragon weaving skill. Otherwise, he would have been incinerated immediately. The The dragon weaving skill could not last long. Luli was complaining because Wu Qing and the others had arrived at the area of red flames. If they came in and could stand the flames, Luli would have to die. Wu Qing and the others didn't come in. They stood in the area of red flames, their eyes flickering and their faces filled with surprise. A patriarch murmured, "He can stand the purple flames? Is he a descendant of Emperor Z? Is he from the Yin family?" Chapter 2451. Dragon Controlling Skill. Wu Qing thought. Emperor Z's skills were well known. Luli could not have mastered an immortal body, or else how could someone at the peak of the fourth tribulation hurt him? There could only be one explanation that Luli could survive such strong flames. He had learned dragon controlling skill. Luli was the successor of the Master of Thousand Transformations, and the Master of Thousand Transformations worked for Emperor Z. In that case, Luli could be a descendant of the Yin family. It was understandable that he had learned Emperor Z's dragon controlling skill. Dragon controlling skill has a time limit, right? Wu Qing murmured and said coldly, "We will wait outside. I want to see how long he can stay in the purple flames." The patriarchs nodded. They had no other choice but to stay in the area of red flames. They dared not to go into the area of purple flames. Spread out. Everyone, take a direction. Do not let him escape from other directions. Wu Qing waved his hand. They could survive the area of red flames. It was a bit painful, but compared to killing Luli, it was nothing. The island was large, but this was the third layer of flames. It was not a large area. The patriarchs had strong psychic power. If they spread out and patrolled, Luli would not be able to escape. The patriarchs spread out and wandered around. Luli sensed this and complained to himself. His petrifying dragon art could only last for an hour. Once the petrifying dragon art duration was up, he would become extremely weak and would definitely be burned to death by the flames. Whoosh! Luli wandered around, trying to figure out a way. However, he could not enter interspatial artifacts or fly. The outside was locked down, and he could not escape. What could he do? Blood Fairy, do you have any way to build fire-repelling runes? Luli asked. Blood Fairy answered, regular flames can work, but the flames here are horrifying. I do not have the ability yet. What about the ancient artifacts? Luli thought about it, and tried to take out the ancient treasures. However, he could not take out any of them. He could not even use his interspatial ring here, let alone an interspatial artifact. Luli had no other choice. He had to move on and explore to see if there was a strange area where he could hide from the flames. What? All of a sudden, Luli was taken aback. He saw a group of ants crawling in and out of a tree stump. There are ants here? Luli was amazed. How come the stump was not burned down? Even a fifth tribulation expert couldn't withstand such a domineering flame. So how could this tree stump withstand it? Luli ran over and grabbed an ant. The ant was only as thick as a pinky finger. When Luli grabbed it, the ant opened its mouth and bit Luli's palm. What a strong ant! Luli was secretly amazed. He activated his Great Tao Trace and found that the ants' bodies were filled with surging fire elemental energy. When they opened their mouths just now, flames came out. A bold idea came to Luli's mind. There was so much fire energy in the ant. Would eating it directly make him more resistant to fire? This ant could actually survive in the purple fire. If he ate some ants, would he be able to resist the flames? Ruthlessness appeared in Luli's eyes. He grabbed the ant, smashed it to death, and threw it into his mouth. Then he closed his eyes and chewed hard. The ant's defense was not strong. Luli bit it and swallowed it. Soon, Luli screamed. He grabbed his neck and rolled on the ground. He felt like he was thrown into a pot of boiling oil. His internal organs were being burned by a powerful flame. Bang! Bang! He kept rolling on the ground, screaming and roaring. It was a tragic sight. Wu Qing and the others outside could not see what was going on inside. Psychic power was restricted in the purple fire area. They were overjoyed to hear Luli's roars. So, Luli could not stand the purple fire? Was he going to be burned to death? Luli rolled on the ground for the time, for half an incense stick to burn, before he finally lay on his stomach and gasped for air. Fear still lingered in his eyes. If he hadn't released the dragon skill, he would have been burned to death by that domineering fire elemental energy. What? Luli suddenly reached out his hand. The burnt flesh on his hand was recovering. The energy in the fire ants had healing effects. Eat! He was overjoyed as if he had fallen off a cliff and saw a rope. He grabbed 2 ants, smashed them to death, and swallowed them. Then he rolled on the ground again, screaming. What? Wu Qing and the others heard Lu Li's screams again. They were surprised. Just now, when Lu Li's screams died down, they all thought he was dead. Little did they expect that he would scream again. This time, after the time for half an incense stick to burn, Lu Li stopped breathing again. After a while, Lu Li screamed again. Wu Qing and the others looked at each other in confusion. What was Lu Li doing in there? He could scream so many times, but he was still alive. Everyone had a bad feeling. Could Lu Li stand the flames in there? Time moved on. Lu Li had eaten 10 ants at one time. As more ants were eaten, Lu Li's pain was not so severe. He was pleasantly surprised to find that his body that was burned by the flames was recovering. The fire ants did not have powerful energy that could heal his wounds. Lu Li began to eat fire ants desperately after he realized this. He ate dozens of them at one time. Luckily, fire ants kept crawling out from the tree stump. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so many fire ants for him to eat. After eating more than 100 fire ants, Lu Li found that his internal organs were more resistant to the fire ants. His physical body seemed to be stronger as well. Seeing that the time limit of the dragon entanglement was about to run out, Lu Li was getting anxious. Even though he had eaten many fire ants, he felt he could not stand the purple flames yet. His dragon skill had strengthened his body by dozens of times. When the weakened period of the dragon skill was over, his body would be dozens of times weaker. How could he stand the purple flames? Lu Li turned his eyes to the tree stump. This tree stump seemed to be the nest of the fire ants. Perhaps the fire ants had eaten the tree stumps to survive in there. Whoosh! Lu Li flew over and arrived at the tree stump. His hands turned into claws, and he scratched at the tree stump. A muffled sound came out. Lu Li felt he had grabbed on a cold iron. If it were a regular tree, Lu Li would have crushed it. How could this tree stump be so hard? Boy, Lu Li clenched his fists. Energy surged out from the 720 acupoints in his body. Lu Li smashed at a corner of the tree stump. Boom! This time, a corner of the tree stump was knocked off. Lu Li grabbed it at once and tried to bite it. However, 2 of his teeth fell out. The wood was too hard for him to bite through. Lu Li took it out and tried to meld it down with divine energy. This time it worked. He used divine energy and the wood melted down. It turned into strands of energy that entered Lu Li's body. This time, Lu Li was in a worse state. He felt a surge of overbearing energy entering his body and rampaging around inside. It was more like a ball of fire was trying to burn Lu Li. Chapter 2452. This time, Lu Li rolled on the ground for the time for 1 incense stick to burn. His period of weakness was coming to an end. He had not made it. However, he could not worry about that now. He smashed another piece of wood with his fist, consumed it quickly, and started to roll on the ground again. Finally, the period of weakness was over. Lu Li felt the energy in his body was gone, as if his strength had been sucked away. From his soul came a strong sense of weakness. He could not stand it anymore. He rolled his eyes and passed out. Before he passed out, his last thought was that the tree stump would work or he would be burned to death. As soon as he passed out, black smoke rose from his body, and then he was on fire. His body could not withstand such an overbearing flame, and his whole body began to burn. Buzzing right at that moment, the energy from the wood pieces turned into dragons of fire that swam around in Lu Li's body. His burnt body was healing bit by bit. The fire burned Lu Li's body over and over again, and then the energy from the wood pieces healed him. The energy of the fire ants that he consumed came out as well. Every time Lu Li's body was damaged, the energy would come out to heal him. Over and over again, Lu Li was hovering between life and death. He was saved over and over again. His body seemed to be strengthened as well. Just like when he was in the Hall of Seven Sounds, every time he was wounded, his body would grow stronger as long as he could be healed. The fire was burning, and the energy in Lu Li's body was being consumed. After an hour, Lu Li's energy finally ran out. The flames began to burn Lu Li. Soon, his body was beyond recognition. When he was about to be burned to death, the dragon soul in his soul lit up. Lu Li's soul had woken up at that moment. He could not feel the pain all over his body. Not even his soul could feel the pain. He came back to his senses at once. Using all his strength, he grabbed more than a dozen ants, crushed them, and threw them into his mouth. A surge of energy flowed into his body. Lu Li's body that was almost burnt to ashes began to heal again. Only now did Lu Li feel the pain. He was about to pass out again because of the sharp pain in his soul. I cannot pass out, or I will die for sure. Lu Li had this thought in his soul. He tried his best to hold on with his strong willpower. The strong willpower that he had honed for many years finally worked. He actually withstood the intense pain and did not faint. Again and again, the flames burned and Lu Li was healed. Once again, he felt the hellish torment. But as long as he could live, this suffering was nothing to him. He had endured this kind of suffering countless times before. Hold on, I want to live. Lu Li murmured to himself over and over again, trying his best to hold on. When the energy in his body was almost used up, he immediately grabbed more than a dozen ants and swallowed them. The ants didn't just pop up, they were endless. Every once in a while, Lu Li would catch some ants and eat them. This was just enough to keep him alive. However, it was not easy to recover from the weakness in his soul. Without any spirit medicine, he could not fall into a deep sleep. If he wanted to slowly recover like this, it would take at least 10 days to half a month. Outside, Wu Qing and the others were losing their patience. They were sure that Lu Li was still alive because they could sense some life in the flames. Lu Li was the only one in there. There was a breath of life inside, which meant that Lu Li was still alive. Wu Qing and the others had to wait in there. They would not be seriously injured in the flames, but they would be slightly injured. The flames were burning, and they were suffering as well. Days passed by. Soon, 5 days had passed by. Lu Li was still alive. He was like a cockroach standing upright. He just wouldn't die. Let's go. Wu Qing thought about it and sent a message to the other patriarchs. Since the Asmodeans were nearby, it was not worthwhile for them to suffer here. Lu Li could not run away anyway. They could just stay outside and guard. The few of them flew out. Sure enough, there were martial artists gathered outside. There were even 2 Fifth Tribulation old demons here. As soon as Wu Qing and the others went out, a group of warriors came over. That punk is in there, but he is in the area covered by purple flames. If any of you can bring his body out, the Wu family's promise will be kept. Wu Qing took a healing pellet and flew away. He sat on an island nearby with his legs crossed. The other patriarchs went to nearby islands or reefs to sit with their legs crossed. Each patriarch would keep watch in one direction to make sure that Lu Li could not fly out. There were more from the Wu family. Wu Qing told them to wander around the island and check with psychic power in case Lu Li came out. The space on the blazing island was unstable. It was impossible to fly. As long as Lu Li didn't come out, he would not be able to run away. Let me go in and have a look. A red-haired old man rushed in. Killing Lu Li could earn him a chance to enter the primitive region. Even though the flames on the blazing island were horrifying, it was worth the risk. The red-haired old man was not bad. He rushed into the red flames at once and sensed Lu Li's location. He didn't rush in rashly. Instead, he locked onto Lu Li and began to attack. Whoosh, 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 he released a strong gust of wind toward Lu Li. The gust of wind broke through and hit Lu Li. Lu Li was hit at once. There were several holes on his body. Whoosh! He patted with one hand and flew up. He hid behind a tree stump. All the attacks landed on the stump. That old warrior made several moves. Sensing that he could not hit Lu Li, he made up his mind. He activated a bead in his hand. Rays of light enveloped him. "Boy!" he shouted and dashed into the purple flames. However, as soon as he went in, his body was ablaze. He screamed in pain and retreated quickly. Even Wu Qing was afraid to go in. This old warrior was much weaker than Wu Qing. Naturally, he would not be able to survive. Screaming, he dashed out and fell into the sea. He was still rolling around, screaming. Ow! Some warriors of the fourth tribulation wanted to go in and see if they could kill Lu Li. But now, none of them dared to move. Not even a warrior of the fifth tribulation could survive. Average warriors would be courting death if they went in. Let me have a try. Another fifth tribulation old devil gritted his teeth and rushed in. The others waited expectantly. After a while, this old devil also rushed out. His whole body was charred. Someone, Wu Qing shouted after some thoughts. A warrior of the Wu family rushed to the island. Wu Qing ordered, "Send out the news that the successor of 1,000 transformations is in the purple flame area of the blazing island. Anyone who is not afraid of the fire can go in and kill him. Wu family will reward you immediately." Yes, that warrior rushed to a nearby island and teleported to the big island. Then, he sent the news back to the Wu family. The Wu family would use their own channels to spread the news. In a few days, the news would be spread across the Silver Flame Sea. Do you think we can't do anything to you if you hide in the purple flame area? Chapter 2453. 5 or 6 days later, there were more than 1,000 warriors gathered at the blazing island. Among them, there were 18 warriors of the fifth tribulation. Lord Realm warriors of the sixth tribulation didn't show up. After all, they didn't want to work for the Wu family. If some of the Lord Realm warriors asked, the major families would give them some face and give them a spot. As a matter of fact, it was pointless for warriors of the Lord Realm to go into these secret areas. Their main purpose was to understand the truth and the most fundamental, profound meaning in heaven and earth. Only in this way could they reach the Emperor Realm. It was said that the Emperor Realm was recognized by heaven and earth and could control the fundamental energy in heaven and earth. With a raise of his hand, heaven and earth could collapse, mountains and rivers could be destroyed, and the sea could turn into mulberry fields. Lord Realm warriors could reach the Emperor Realm with one more step. Therefore, there was no need for them to go into the secret areas. More than 10 warriors came, and all of them went in. But none of them could get into the area where Lu Li was. Those who went in would come out soon. They couldn't last long. None of the more than 10 warriors cultivated in fire. Even though some of them were strong, they couldn't stand the burning of the purple fire. They came out after the time for a few breaths. After several days of recovery, Lu Li was not so weak anymore. He could use the dragon skill, albeit barely. That being said, if he used the dragon skill now, he would be even weaker after the period of weakness. He would definitely pass out. Therefore, Lu Li didn't move. He stayed behind the tree stump and kept an eye on the surroundings. If any warriors came, he would go into the depths of the purple fire area. Fortunately, none of the more than 10 warriors could stand the flames. He had already eaten an uncountable number of fire ants, at least thousands of them. Now, his resistance to the purple fire was very strong. Although the purple fire was still burning him, the fire ant's energy would quickly heal his body. He had smashed more than a dozen pieces of wood from the tree stump, but he didn't consume them. He was saving them for his own survival. Those pieces of wood were purer than the energy of the fire ants. If it weren't for the fact that Lu Li's interspatial ring couldn't be used, he would have dug out the tree stump and put it in. He put the more than a dozen pieces of wood into his pants pocket. The leather pants were fire-resistant treasures. The fact that they weren't burned by such strong flames had saved Lu Li's dignity. Otherwise, he would be rolling around on the ground naked, which would be very indecent. Give me a few more pieces. Lu Li used divine energy to smash at the corner of the stump. Soon, he smashed out more pieces of wood. Holding the pieces of wood in his hand, he sat on the ground to cultivate. Every now and then, he would grab some fire ants to eat. There should be a super big ant nest underground. Lu Li had caught so many fire ants, but there were still more coming out. Another 2 days passed, and 3 silhouettes flew over from the northern sky. The three of them were as fast as the wind, and their auras were that of peerless, ferocious beasts, causing people to feel suffocated from afar. Another three. On the island, Wu Qing opened his eyes. There were two patriarchs of the Wu family with him. The island was surrounded by people. Luli couldn't fly away even if he had wings. When the three of them flew over, someone from the Wu family immediately went to greet them. They chatted politely with the three of them and explained the situation inside. Purple Flame area? A slightly chubby old man said with a smile. I've entered the Purple Flame area decades ago. Although I can't last long in there, it should be enough time to kill one person, right? Oh, a glint of light flickered in the eyes of a leader of the Wu family. He said in a deep voice, Patriarch Lei, you are proficient in the law of fire. That is wonderful. With your help, that punk will be captured easily. I wish you success in advance. Ha ha ha. Demon Lei laughed and said carelessly, back in the days, the king of Thousand Changes and a senior of mine held some grudges against each other. His descendant dared to stir up trouble in the Silver Flame Sea. Of course, we cannot sit by and do nothing. Take a seat. In an hour, I will bring out that punk's head to go with your drinks. Old Demon Lei was wearing a very thick robe. With a flick of his wide sleeves, he rushed into a blazing island. People outside the island were excited. Some old demons went in as well, eager to see how Demon Lei would kill Lu Li. On the off chance that Demon Lei didn't kill Lu Li and escaped, they would have a chance to reap the benefits. The Wu family didn't care how much effort was put in. Whoever could bring out Lu Li's body would be rewarded by the Wu family. Demon Lei rushed in quickly and soon arrived at the area of red flames. He walked around and sensed Lu Li's qi and energy. Another demon is here. Lu Li had been using the trace of Tao to sense. Demon Lei's qi and energy were so strong that Lu Li could sense it easily. Demon Lei had been coming in, so Lu Li wasn't worried. Of course, he was still paying attention. He used the trace of Tao at all times to keep an eye on the situation outside. Whoosh! Old Demon Lei rushed in. A black light barrier appeared outside his body and enveloped his entire body. When he entered the Purple Flame area, the black light barrier actually expanded and pushed the purple flames away. Oh no! Lu Li sensed something was wrong. This man had skills to avoid fire. Without hesitation, Lu Li picked up the pieces of wood and ran to the distance. Ha ha ha! Demon Lei laughed. He dashed over and said with mockery, Punk, stop struggling. Since the forefather is here to capture you, you should surrender. It will be your honor to die in the hands of the forefather. Bah! Lu Li spat. He sped up and dashed into the depths of the area of purple flames. Lu Li would rather die in the hands of Demon Lei than to be burned alive in the more horrifying area of flames. By then, his body would be nailed to the cliff of sins, which would be a disgrace to the crippled Zen master. Demon Lei was so fast that he reached Lu Li in an instant. Lu Li made up his mind to release the dragon-absorbing skill. At the same time, he used the Slayer's move. Swish, for a fifth tribulation warrior, the Slayer's move was like a child's play. That being said, there was one good thing about the Slayer's move. When the move was released, it would affect the force in heaven and earth around and suppress the enemy along with the ray of sword light. For a fifth tribulation warrior, the force in heaven and earth was weak. But when the force in heaven and earth was activated, it would attract the flames nearby. Therefore, as soon as the Slayer's move was released, the purple flames swarmed over. The flames in the space around Demon Lei were concentrated to the extreme. Hiss, hiss! Old Demon Lei was shocked. His body froze on the spot. He kept urging the black light shield to expand and push the purple flames away. However, the purple flames continued to pour in from all directions, causing him to tremble with fear. If the black light barrier couldn't hold on any longer, he might be burned to death. What? Lu Li was overjoyed. Just now, he was at his wit's end. He used the Slayer's move casually, hoping to fend off the purple flames. He did not expect this. Go on. Chapter 2454. Eventually, Demon Lei did not last long. As a matter of fact, he could not stand the purple flames yet. He had to rely on some kind of skill to keep the purple flames alive. When the purple flames swarmed over, Demon Lay was scared. The black shield was consuming divine energy rapidly, and Luli was luring flames over. Demon Lay was afraid of death as well. He did not want to risk his life for a chance to enter the primitive region. Demon Lay retreated quickly, but he did not leave the island at once. He lingered in the area of red flames for a while, and then flew out, embarrassed. Although it was unavoidable to lose face, he was really at his wit's end. Whoosh! Wu family warriors gathered around him. Many people stared at him. Thick-skinned as Demon Lay was, he was too ashamed to show his face. Wu Qing and the others were nearby. Demon Lay touched his nose and said, "That punk can attract flames. It will be hard for me to kill him. Let me go back and get a piece of fire-resistant artifact. I will cut him into pieces." After saying that, old Demon Lay turned into a stream of light and soared into the sky, quickly disappearing into the distant sky. The two warriors that came with him rushed in. Since they were here, they must try their luck. What if they could kill Luli? Let's go. The two warriors rushed in and were ready to take action at the same time. Given the chance, they could kill Luli. After all, Luli was said to be only at the peak of the fourth tribulation. They flew into the area of red flames and sensed where Luli was. They looked at each other and nodded. Then they rushed into the area of purple flames at the same time. Swish! As soon as they went in, a ray of sword light came out. Following that, purple flames swept over and engulfed the two warriors. The two were taken aback. They stepped back in fright and at the same time used various defensive skills. Whoosh! They retreated for 30 miles in an instant. But their robes were burned, and so were their skin. Their hair and beards were gone. They were in a sorry state. Whoosh! They put on their armors and flew away from the other side without having time to tend to their wounds. The purple flames were so strong that they were burned as soon as they went in. They had retreated quickly. If they had been a few breaths later, they would have become two dead bodies. Good. Luli nodded. He didn't know that the Slayer's Ghost Slash had such abilities. If these flames could be collected, compressed, and suddenly exploded, they would probably be able to burn many Fifth Tribulation experts to death. Let's walk around. Luli stopped casting petrification, otherwise he would definitely pass out. He remembered that there was a tree stump here and fire ants. Maybe there were other magical herbs in other areas? He wandered around the purple flame area. The purple flame area was huge, and it formed a circle. Luli wandered around, but did not see any other herbs or beasts. He didn't even see any fire ants. After walking half a circle, Luli found that there were vines on the ground between the purple flame area and the white flame area. There were scales on the vines, and they looked like small snakes. There were also fist-sized, dark golden fruits on the vines. Godly medicine. Li's eyes glowed. This dark golden fruit could grow between the purple flames and the more advanced white flames. This fruit must be a super one. How could ordinary fruits grow under such terrifying heat? Well, this is weird. Luli took a closer look and noticed another thing. There were no flames around the fruits. There were no flames in the space around the fruits. It was as if there was a shield of light around each fruit. It was amazing. Phew. Luli slapped, and the flames swept over. Something miraculous happened. The purple flames were all sucked into the dark golden fruits. Still, there were no flames around the fruits. This is good. Luli was excited. The fruits could absorb flames. Did it mean that he could go into the white flame area with the fruits on him? Who could kill him if he could go into the white flame area? Even a Lord-rank powerhouse wouldn't dare to stay too long in the white flame area, right? Luli hurried over and used petrification. On the other side of the fruits was the white flame area, which must be at least 10 times more powerful than the purple flames. Luli walked over to one of the golden vines. He pulled it out with great force and pulled it out easily. But when the vine was pulled out, it waved as if it were a living thing that was about to fly away. Luli grabbed the golden vine and poured divine energy into it. After a moment, the vine stopped moving. Instead, It seemed to be enjoying Lu Li's divine energy. The golden vine was long with 4 fruits on it. Lu Li wrapped the vine around himself and poured divine energy into it every now and then. The vine stopped moving. I knew it. Lu Li took a look. Most of the flames around him had been absorbed. Only the dark golden fruits on his feet were still burning. Lu Li quickly walked over to the other 2 vines and pulled one out easily. There were 3 fruits on that vine. Lu Li wrapped it around his feet, and there were no more flames around his feet. Nice! Lu Li had 7 fruits on him, and he was wrapped up by the vines. He looked like a wild man, but he was relieved that there were no flames burning him. He was not a man without pain. Of course, he didn't want to suffer if he could, even though suffering was also a way to improve his abilities and refine his body. The root of the last vine was in the area of white flames. To pull it out, Lu Li had to go into the area. Lu Li took off one of the vines and threw it into the area of white flames. Nice! He was overjoyed to find that wherever the dark golden fruits went, the white flames would be absorbed. Lu Li took the vine back and wrapped it around his body again. Making sure that every part of his body could be protected by the fruits, Lu Li released the bordering dragon skill and walked into the area of white flames. Hiss. As soon as he stepped in, even with the fruits absorbing the flames, Lu Li felt smoke rising from his body. Many parts of his body were burned by the white flames. He smelled burnt flesh. Even his fire-resistant leather pants could not stand it any longer. Smoke was rising. Lu Li moved on quickly. He pulled out the other dark golden vine and stepped back. This vine was slightly longer and had 5 dark golden fruits on it. After Lu Li wrapped the vines around him, there were 12 fruits hanging densely on his body. He looked like a monster. More importantly, he was naked. He had no hair or beard. His skin was dark, which was quite strange. Strangeness did not matter. Staying alive was more important than anything else. Lu Li grinned. The golden fruits were definitely treasures. Of course, he didn't want to take them off. He would just hang them there. He would pour some divine energy into them every now and then to grow the fruits. Cultivate. Chapter 2455. One by one, the old demons went in and came out. The 5 warriors that went in later all came out with their faces covered in dirt, which surprised the people outside. Was Lu Li too powerful? Or was the purple flames too powerful? Either way, Lu Li had become famous this time. The old demons that came, such as Lei, were all famous, powerful warriors of the Silver Flame seas. They had been in the seas for more than 100,000 years. They had thought that they could capture Lu Li easily once they went in. Little did they expect that they would come back in failure. More and more warriors gathered here. Many of them were not here to kill Lu Li, but to enjoy the show. Of course, it would be beneficial for them if they could establish a relationship with the Wu family. Half a month after Lu Li went in, the number of warriors here had reached 5,000 or 6,000. There were several old demons here as well. Many more were teleporting over or opening the spatial gates. Wu Qing didn't mobilize more powerful warriors from his family. He had put up a bounty. More old demons must be coming. He just had to wait for them to make a move. 3 days later, another old devil came. When this person arrived, the scene was spectacular. Before he arrived, a 7-color divine rainbow flew over. Then, he slowly flew over from the other end of the rainbow. There was a golden glow behind him. He looked like a Buddha. Recluse Fan Shan is here as well. Wow, someone like Recluse Fan Shan is here as well? It is said that he reached the peak of the 5th tribulation many years ago. Judging by his appearance, has he reached the Lord Realm? Is the successor of 1,000 transformations still alive? People were talking about it. The way this man showed up was stunning. Many had never seen such a glamorous way. They felt it was a worthwhile trip. Whoosh! Wu Qing flew up. This man was more powerful than him. Even though he hadn't reached the 6th tribulation, Wu Qing had to show him some respect. Wu Qing and Recluse Fan Shan chatted for a while. When Recluse Fan Shan went into the island, many followed him to watch. A patriarch of the Wu family went in as well. He wanted to see how Recluse Fan Shan was going to kill Lu Li. Recluse Fanshawn was wearing a Taoist robe. He looked like an immortal. He was thin and had a long beard. One look, and people could tell that he was powerful. He held a horsetail whisk in his hand and wore a dark golden robe with many divine runes on it. When he entered the area of red flames, runes lit up on his robe, and a faint golden barrier appeared, preventing the flames from approaching him. Is he not in the purple flame area? Recluse Fanshawn stood at the border of the red and purple flames. He frowned. The patriarch of the Wu family sensed it, and his face clouded over. Did Luli run away? Yes, I found it. After a while, Layman Fanshawn raised his eyebrows slightly and said in a deep voice, "He is at the place where the purple flame area and the white flame area connect. This guy is quite powerful." Kid, people nearby were surprised. Luli looked like an old man. It was true that Recluse Fanshawn was advanced in age, but it was inappropriate to call Luli a brat. Ha ha ha. Scholar Fanshawn smiled and explained, "He is wearing the 1,000 Transformations mask, hiding his life aura. He is actually very young. To have such achievements at such a young age, it is not bad. He should be a descendant of the Purple Sovereign." Scholar Fanshawn pointed out Lu Li's age with one sentence. His words were full of confidence, convincing others. The patriarch of the Wu family cupped his fists and said, "You are impressive. Thank you." Ha ha. Scholar Fanshawn waved his hand and said, "It is nothing. Please wait here. I will be back soon." Scholar Fanshawn executed a strange footwork. His figure floated gracefully as he charged into the area of purple flames. He waved his horsetail whisk, and the purple flames actually parted, creating a path for him. Impressive. Everyone was dumbfounded. This wasn't an ordinary flame. It could actually split the purple flame so easily. The patriarch of the Wu family was delighted. It seemed that Lu Li was going to die this time. "Someone is here?" Lu Li, who was sitting with his legs crossed, opened his eyes. He had been activating the trace of the Great Tao, so he could sense the surroundings. Once someone entered the purple flame area, he would know right away. Lu Li noticed that the man was waving his horsetail whisk and blowing away the purple flames. Lu Li's expressions grew solemn. Swish! Before anyone could come over, Lu Li had released the Slayer's Ghost Cut. The purple flames from all sides were attracted to Recluse Fanshawn. When the balls of purple flames spread out, average warriors would have been frightened. Ha ha. Scholar Fanshawn's expressions did not change. He kept waving his horsetail whisk. His body glowed in a golden light as well. He had turned into a Buddha. Every time he waved his horsetail whisk, there would be a golden glare. The purple flames would be smashed away. Impressive. Lu Li's expression grew solemn. His eyes flickered. He released the skill of dragon at once and dashed into the area of white flames. Since the purple flames could not stop Scholar Fanshawn, then he would have to rely on the white flames. If the white flames could not stop Scholar Fanshawn, then he would have to wait for death. Hiss, hiss. As soon as Lu Li entered the area of white flames, he was smoking. He had the dark golden fruits. Without them, he would have turned into a mummy. Seeing that Lu Li had entered the area of white flames, Scholar Fanshawn was surprised. Or the vines and fruits hanging on Lu Li. How could they protect him from the white flames? Whoosh! Scholar Fanshawn sped up. He wanted to kill Lu Li before he went too deep into the area of white flames. Swish! As soon as Lu Li entered, he released the Slayer's Ghost Cut at once. Countless streams of white flames whooshed out and swept towards Scholar Fanshawn. Buzzing, Scholar Fanshawn's body glowed in a golden light. His expressions were solemn. He waved his horsetail whisk. Ripples spread out in space, trying to push back the white flames. No, back! Scholar Fanshawn kept waving his horsetail whisk. The ripples in space did not push back the white flames. A surge of heat swept across. The golden glow around Scholar Fanshawn dimmed down. Some parts of his robe were smoking and his beard was on fire. Fortunately, Scholar Fanshawn was a powerful warrior. He reacted quickly. He stepped back for more than 30 miles at once and was out of the area of purple flames. He was not enveloped by the white flames. What? There was a group of people standing in the area of red flames. They looked at each other, speechless, seeing Scholar Fanshawn stepping back in such a disheveled manner. The successor of 1,000 transformations was so powerful that even a warrior of Scholar Fanshan's level could come out in such a sorry state. Could it be that only a Lord Realm warrior could kill Scholar Fanshawn? Cough, cough. When Scholar Fanshawn saw so many people looking at him, he blushed. He said awkwardly, "That kid has entered the white flame area. The white flame is too terrifying. I don't think it will be easy to kill him unless he is a lord." Area of white flames? Chapter 2456. The retreat of Recluse Fanshawn caused an uproar among the thousands of warriors outside. Recluse Fanshawn was at the peak of the fifth tribulation, and he said that Luli had gone into the white flame area. Not even the fifth tribulation warriors dared to go into the purple flame area. Going into the white flame area would only result in death. Luli had been injured by a warrior at the peak of the fourth tribulation. As far as everyone knew, Luli was not a powerful warrior. Now he could go into the white flame area, which was confusing. Did Luli suddenly become more powerful? Or was he hiding his abilities before? Recluse Fanshawn left, leaving Wu Qing and the others with a headache. They knew how dangerous the white flame area was. Average warriors of the fifth tribulation wouldn't dare to go in. What do they do now? They could either go back to the Wu family and ask for help from powerful warriors of the Lord Realm, or wait for more powerful warriors to come and help, or wait for Luli to come out on his own. Wu Qing thought about it for an hour and decided to wait. To ask for help from the family now would mean that Wu Qing was incapable. After all, Wu Qing was responsible for this. Wu Qing had offered such favorable conditions and mobilized so many people and resources. If he couldn't even kill Lu Li, his prestige in the family would be diminished. Wu Qing received the news that more warriors would come. Lu Li couldn't run away anyway, so he would wait for a while. For them, a few years was just a blink of an eye. Time flew by. 3 months passed by quickly. This time, for warriors of the fourth tribulation and some warriors of the fourth tribulation came. They all took turns to go in and have a look. In the end, they all came back in failure. Wu Qing was looking forward to coming alone. According to the information from the Wu family, a warrior specializing in fire from the west of the Silver Flame Sea was coming. That warrior was famous at the west of the Silver Flame Sea. His nickname was Master of Red Sunday. He had been cultivating the fundamental principle of fire all his life, and he lived in a silver flame volcano all year round. How horrifying was the silver flame volcano? Usually, people would either die or be injured when touched by the silver flame. How could this warrior live in the silver flame volcano all year round? It was not hard to imagine how powerful this warrior was in fire. It was said that this warrior had set off for this place a long time ago. If nothing went wrong, he should have arrived a long time ago. However, he heard that a silver flame volcano spewed out some treasures along the way. Therefore, he stopped teleporting and went into the silver flame volcano to look for treasures. Once this person was done searching for treasures, he would definitely continue to teleport over. Wu Qing was waiting for him. Wu Qing even sent a message to his men to wait outside the silver flame volcano. If Master Scarlet Sun didn't come to Blazing Island after he came out, he would add some more bargaining chips to invite him over. Luli had been in closed-door cultivation. He left the area of purple flames and replanted the 3 vines. The vines didn't fly away. They stayed nearby. Luli continued to let the purple flames burn his body. When his wounds were more serious, he would take out the pieces of wood to consume. The piece of wood contained pure and strange energy. Not only could it improve Lu Li's body, but could also heal his wounds. If you want to cultivate a supreme divine body, not only do you need body-refining divine medicines, you also need to go to some strange places to temper your body. Luli remembered the crippled Zen master's words. He could feel it now. Using flames to refine the body was really fast. He was improving every second, just like consuming elixirs. Luli was having too much fun in here. Whenever powerful warriors came, he would hide in the area of white flames and cultivate his body outside when he had nothing to do. He planned to stay here for a couple of years. Of course, he had nowhere else to go. He didn't dare to go out, and he couldn't fly. Actually, Luli had thought about eating one or two of those dark golden fruits to see if he could improve his body by leaps and bounds. In the end, he stopped himself. So what if his body was improved? Without the fruits to withstand the white flames, once a powerful warrior came in, he would die for sure. The area of white flames was horrifying. Not even a powerful warrior could survive. Therefore, the area of white flames was the best place for him to take refuge. Time moved on. Luli felt more and more like a fish in water. Half of the stump had been consumed by him, and he didn't know how many fire ants he had eaten. Luli had been studying the fundamental principle of divine sounds. He had made some progress, but he still had a long way to go before he could master it. Soon, another 5 months had passed. During this time, 7 more warriors came, but all of them were at the 5th tribulation. None of them were at the 6th tribulation. 5 of the 7 warriors went into the area of purple flames and came out after a moment. 2 of them knew something about the fundamental principle of fire. Luli had no other choice but to go into the area of white flames. The 2 of them took the risk and went into the area of white flames. Just like recluse Fan Shan, they had to leave with their faces covered in dust. Those warriors were all powerful. Luli had attacked many times, but he couldn't kill any of them. Those warriors had been fighting for their entire lives. Their awareness of combat was strong. Once they were in danger, they would retreat at once. Luli had been refining his body in the purple fire area for so many days. His body should be more than 10 times stronger than before. Now, the purple fire could not inflict serious damage on him. His self-healing ability alone could protect him from death. He would use the dragon skill every now and then to go into the area of white flames to refine his body. Of course, he wouldn't go in for too long. He would come out as soon as his body couldn't stand it anymore. If he only used the dragon skill for a short while, his body wouldn't be too weak. When the period of weakness was over, the dragon skill would be released automatically. Therefore, Luli didn't dare to use it for too long. He was living a comfortable life here. It was quiet and suitable for cultivation. If there were no interruptions, Luli would cultivate here for years or even decades to improve his physical body to a higher level. Luli believed that as long as he could go into the destructive flames, his body would be so strong that he could defeat warriors of the 5th tribulation realm. The destructive flames was one of the most powerful flames in the world. Emperor Z had to use the destructive flames to refine his body after he reached the Emperor realm. It was not hard to imagine how powerful the flames were. Luli believed that if he could stay alive for the time for one breath, his body would be stronger than he could imagine. Another 4 months passed by. Wu Qing received a piece of good news. Master of Red Sun had come out from the Silver Flame volcano. He was teleporting over constantly. Clearly, he was here to kill Luli. Almost a year had passed, and a puny Luli was still alive. The Wu family sent back a message that they were dissatisfied. Now that Master of Red Sun was here, Wu Qing could put his mind at ease. More than half a month later, a red figure flew over like a fire snake. As soon as he got closer, a surge of heat wave swept over. It felt like he was a silver flame volcano, causing the surrounding space to become oppressive. Master of Red Sun was here. Wu Qing went to greet him at once. He was also at the peak of the 5th tribulation realm, and he had been famous for a long time. He was even more famous than recluse Fan Shan. Years ago, this man wiped out a middle-level force and killed 3 warriors at the peak of the 5th tribulation realm. Whoosh whoosh. Chapter 2457. Greetings, Senior Master Scarlet Sun. Wu Qing led 2 elders to greet him, and a few old demons followed to greet him. Master Scarlet Sun could be considered a real old demon, having lived for almost 300,000 years. Wu Qing and the others could be considered juniors. Master Scarlet Sun had a head of fiery red hair, and even his beard was red. His hair and beard were all spread out, and his bell-like eyes made him look somewhat frightening. It nodded indifferently as a greeting to everyone. Then it glanced at Blazing Island and asked, "Is that brat still inside?" Wu Qing nodded and said, "He has always been inside, but he can enter the White Flame area. Senior Master Scarlet's son. Do you have a way to kill him?" White Flame area. Master Scarlet's son's expression sank, and he remained silent. Just when Wu Qing and the others thought that he would not dare to enter, Master Scarlet's son said, "I can kill him, but your conditions are not enough. I want to add another condition." Add another condition? Wu Qing frowned, but after a pause, he said, "Senior Master Scarlet's son, please say it. I can make the decision." Wu Qing spoke very cleverly, because the decisions he could make were not big matters. The real big matters needed the Wu family's patriarch and great elder to make the decision, and he was not qualified. "I want to go into your blazing secret realm," Master Scarlet's son said coldly. "I want to stay inside for a day. I promise not to destroy your secret realm, but everything I get inside is mine." This, Wu Qing and the others hesitated. Blazing secret realm was the one that Purple Emperor went in back then. It was the Wu family's resource land, and there were many strange divine medicines in it. If Master Scarlet's son went in, many divine medicines would probably be collected by him, and the price to pay would be too high. "What, you don't agree?" Master Scarlet's son glanced at Wu Qing from the corner of his eyes and said, "If you don't agree, you can ask your old fart to come. Even your feudal lord might not be able to do well in the White Flame area unless you ask your patriarch or king to come." Wu Qing and the others looked slightly bitter. Did they need the family's patriarch to deal with a mere 1,000 transformations descendant? Wouldn't that be too degrading? King? If they reported such a small matter to Sunlight Emperor, they would probably be killed by him with a slap. "Wait a moment, Senior." Wu Qing pondered for a moment, cupped his hands, and said, "I will send someone to send a message back and let the Grand Elder make a decision. This matter, I cannot make the decision. Hurry up." Master Scarlet's son waved his hand impatiently and entered the Blazing Island. However, he was only at the periphery of the island. As soon as he entered, something miraculous happened. The flames around him actually surged towards him and were absorbed into his body, as expected of the Scarlet Sun Taoist. Tis TSK, he can even absorb flames. Does he have the body of the fire god? Among those who play with fire in the Silver Flame Sea region, Senior Scarlet Sun is probably in the top 3, right? He even dared to enter the Silver Flame volcano. What's there to be afraid of? I don't think White Flame can hurt him at all. Many people were looking forward to it. This time, Master of Red Sun would go in and bring Lu Li's body out. They all wanted to see what kind of person the 1,000 transformations descendant who had caused so many old devils to return in defeat was. He was said to be very young. It was said that he was a descendant of the Purple Emperor. Wu Qing sent a message back. 3 days later, the Wu family replied and agreed to Master of Red Sun's conditions. Wu Qing sent a message back to the Wu family. Naturally, the family patriarch of the Wu family would not take any action. If the great patriarch of the Wu family came back without any success, it would be a great disgrace. They might as well give up some benefits and let Master of Red Sun kill Lu Li. Okay, let's wait and see. After Master of Red Sun got the confirmation, he strode inside. Some old devils and warriors of the Fourth Tribulation realm followed him in, wanting to see his amazing means. Master of Red Sun arrived at the area of red flames quickly. Without any pause, he went into the area of purple flames. The purple flames swept towards him. A ray of red light came out from his body, and he absorbed all the purple flames nearby. What? The people following him were dumbfounded. If Master of Red Sun could absorb purple flames, then Master of Red Sun wouldn't feel much pressure from the white flames. Someone is coming. Lu Li, who was sitting with his legs crossed in the middle of the area of purple flames and white flames, opened his eyes. Without any hesitation, he pulled out the 3 vines from the ground and wrapped them around his body. He drew a sword with one hand and hacked at the man coming at him fast. Swish, a ray of sword light turned around in midair and swept over with many purple flames. What happened next shocked Lu Li. When all the purple flames reached that man, his body glowed in red. Then the purple flames were absorbed by him slowly. What? Lu Li's expressions darkened. This man's attainments in fire were beyond his imagination. He could even absorb purple flames? Would white flame not be able to stop him? If even white flame could not stop it, then he could only wait for his death. Blessing fruit? Master of Red Sun didn't look at Lu Li. Instead, he was staring at the 12 dark golden fruits on Lu Li. His eyes were glowing, and there was a trace of excitement on his face. Punk! Master of Red Sun took a deep breath and said, "Give me the fruits, and I will spare your life. Don't worry. I, Master of Red Sun, am a man of my word. I am famous even in the Silver Flame Sea." Blessing fruit? Lu Li repeated. The old man was so powerful, but he was so excited when he saw the fruit. It must be a treasure, at least for powerful warriors that cultivated the fundamental meaning of fire. It must be a treasure. Lu Li thought about it and said, "I will give you one. You can go now." Ha ha ha. Master of Red Sun laughed and said, "Punk, who do you think you are? If I kill you, the fruits will be mine as well. As far as I am concerned, you're no different from an ant. I can crush you easily." Really? Lu Li wanted to negotiate. If this man was willing to give him some face, Lu Li wouldn't mind giving up half of the fruits. Now that this man had said so, Lu Li lost his temper. He said coldly, "Then come at me. I promise that I will destroy all the fruits before I die." "Do you think you can do that?" Master of Red Sun sneered. Then he dashed over like a hawk. Lu Li released the dragon skill at once and dashed into the area of white flames. Whoosh! Master of Red Sun arrived at the area of white flames. Lu Li released the Slayer's ghost cut. White flames swept over and enveloped Master of Red Sun. A Master of Red Sun's body glowed red. This time, more flames came out from his body. All the purple flames that he had devoured came out. There was also silver lava that formed a shield around him to protect him from the white flames. Oh no! Lu Li's mind was weighed down. This old man really could stop the white flames. But he did not know how long he could last. If he could, then Lu Li would not be able to escape this time. The dragon skill could only last for an hour. If Master of Red Sun didn't leave after an hour, then Lu Li would die. Punk, stop struggling. Master of Red Sun sneered and said, "I know you have used the dragon skill. I don't think your body can last long. By then, you will be burnt to ashes by the white flames. Give me the fruits, and I will let you die in one piece." Oh. Chapter 2458. Lu Li was never one to resign himself to death. Therefore, he dashed toward the depth of the white flames without hesitation. He used the mark of Tao and could sense something. Flames and lava were coming out of Master Scarlet Sun's body. What did this mean? It meant that the white flames were consuming the energy of Master Scarlet Sun's shield. He had to replenish the shield with flames. That was to say, Master Scarlet Sun was not afraid of the white flames. He was just using the shield to withstand it. Swish! Lu Li released the Slayer's move. The white flames whooshed toward Master Scarlet Sun, but the shield was not cracked. That being said, Master Scarlet Sun's speed had slowed down. Okay. Lu Li was overjoyed. Master Scarlet Sun wouldn't act rashly in the white flames area. This was a chance for Lu Li. Master Scarlet Sun didn't attack either. Clearly, he didn't want to damage the 12 blessing fruits. Punk. On the other side, Master Scarlet Sun spoke again. He said in a deep voice, "Don't be stubborn. The weakened period of your spinning dragon technique will come soon. How about this? Give me 10 blessing fruits, and I will leave right away. I will take an almighty oath. What do you say?" Master Scarlet Sun gave in. Lu Li was surprised. Master Scarlet Sun was an old demon. Normally, he would not give in. This meant that he could not hold on any longer and could not stay in the white flame area for a long time. Lu Li wandered around in the white flames area quickly while he kept releasing Slayer's ghost cuts. Countless white flames swarmed toward Master Scarlet Sun and enveloped him. Master Scarlet Sun complained to himself. The white flames were too powerful. More importantly, there were too many of them. Luli was drawing them over and over again. Master Scarlet's son could stand it, but he could still be in trouble. He didn't want to ruin his reputation here. If he were to play with fire for the rest of his life, he would not be able to afford it. He could attack, and he was confident that if he did, he could kill Luli in one move. However, Luli had 12 blessing fruits on him. If Master Scarlet's son attacked, many of the fruits would be destroyed. Luli didn't know much about blessing fruits. They were indeed miraculous. For those who cultivated fundamental principle of fire, they were priceless treasures. Though the fruits were not ripe yet, Master Scarlet's son had all the time in the world. If these fruits were thrown into the silver flame volcano or cultivated here, they would mature in less than 5,000 years. Once these fruits ripened and he refined them, he had a 70% chance of breaking through the peak of the fifth tribulation and becoming a lord. Lord tier. 4 old devils like them who had lived for hundreds of thousands of years. This was something they had dreamed of for many years. Nothing was more important than this matter. What was the Wu family's reward worth? Even if he entered the primitive mystic realm 10 times, he wouldn't be able to match up to these 12 fruits. As a result, he had even sworn an overgod blood oath. With his status, he naturally could not say something like that casually. If he couldn't do anything, what else could he do? Master Crimson's son left without hesitation. He retreated to the area of purple flames. His psychic power penetrated in and locked on Luli. He said, "Punk, stop struggling. You cannot hold on much longer. You will be burned alive in a while. Give me 10 fruits and leave immediately. I am Daoist Scarlet's son, famous in the Silver Flame Sea region. I will not go back on my word." Hee. Luli sneered. It was not that he didn't trust Master Crimson's son's words. The problem was that if he gave Master Crimson's son 10 fruits, he would only have 2 left. How could he survive the white flames with only 2? If he couldn't, how long could he survive in the purple flames? If Master Crimson's son left, would Master White's son or Master Black's son come? Either way, he was going to die. Luli didn't want to give up the treasures. Since Master Crimson's son valued the blessing fruit so much, it must be a miraculous medicine. Miraculous medicine? Luli thought of something. If the fruit could absorb the white flames, then if he consumed one, would he have a chance to survive the white flames? He had 12 now. It wouldn't make much difference if he consumed 1 or 2 or even 4. He was at the end of his rope now. He didn't think too much. He picked a fruit off the ground and bit into it. It tastes good. The fragrance melted in Luli's mouth. He felt a stream of heat surging into his abdomen and spreading to the rest of his body. At that moment, Luli felt like he was floating, extremely comfortable. He didn't eat much now. He could replenish his energy with some cultivation. Now that he had eaten the fruit, his appetite was whetted. Prodigal. Master Crimson's son had been checking on Luli. He had lived for more than 300,000 years. How powerful would his psychic power be? Therefore, even though the purple flames and white flames could weaken psychic power, Master Crimson's son could still locate Luli easily. Master Crimson's son's mouth twitched. He was so angry that his beard was standing on end. The fruit wasn't ripe yet, and Luli had eaten it. What a waste. Not to mention that he should not have eaten it like this. What a waste. Master Crimson's son wanted to rush in and slap Luli. What a rare treasure, and Luli had wasted it. This was a treasure that could help Master Crimson's son reach the sixth tribulation. Even one such fruit would make people fight over it. But Luli had wasted it like this. It tastes good. Luli finished the fruit in a few bites. After he finished, he still felt like he wanted more. He picked another one and ate it. Punk. Master Crimson's son was about to lose his mind. He had regarded the fruits as his treasure. He was heartbroken that Luli had wasted them like this. But what else could he do? He couldn't stay inside for long. Even if he could, he wouldn't be able to get the blessing fruit. Master Crimson's son took a deep breath and shouted, "Punk, stop eating. You cannot absorb the energy of the blessing fruit like this. It is a waste. How about this? I will take you out of here and you give me the other 10 fruits." "No." I only want 8. How about that? Haha. Luli, of course, did not believe the words of this old man. Going out with this old man? He was afraid that the old man would slap him to death after he gave him the fruit. Luli finished the fruit in a few bites. He sat on the ground with his legs crossed and mobilized divine energy in his body to absorb the energy of the fruit. What a powerful fruit! Luli felt surges of powerful energy moving around in his body. Many of them were entering his 720 acupoints. His body was absorbing the energy quickly. His body was strengthening as if he had consumed 100 top-level herbs. Okay, Luli felt his burnt body was healing quickly after he consumed the fruit. The fruit was more powerful than the tree stumps and the fire ants. Clearly, it was a super herb. Let's try it. Luli tried to stop using the dragon skill to see if the energy of the fruit could withstand the white flames. As soon as he stopped using the spinning dragon art, his physical body was instantly weakened several times over. Black smoke rose from his body as the high temperature started to burn his body. Okay, Luli wanted to roll around on the ground in pain, but he realized that the energy was healing his body as if it were the tree stumps. Eat. Chapter 2459. While Master Red Sun was in a rage, Luli ate the fruits one by one. His body was improving at a fast speed, and his resistance to fire was improving as well. 4 fruits later, Luli felt he was recovering faster than his burns. His body was undergoing a qualitative change as well. Not only was he getting stronger, he also had a feeling that his body was about to transform to another level. Is this blessing fruit really that miraculous? Luli had consumed countless elixirs. After he came to the 3rd heaven, he must have consumed more than 10,000 elixirs. But none of them could compare to the blessing fruit. Eat more. Without hesitation, Luli picked another fruit and ate it. Outside, Master of Red Sun could not sit still any longer. If Master of Red Sun waited any longer, Luli would finish all the fruits. If he could not get the fruits, then what else could he worry about? If he rushed in now and killed Luli, he might get 1 or 2 fruits. If he didn't, all the fruits would be eaten by Luli. Swish, Luli released the Slayer's ghost slash. Countless streams of white flames came at him. At the same time, Luli ran around the area of white flames quickly. On the other hand, he was using divine energy to dissolve the effects of the elixirs. At the same time, he was eating the fruits with one hand. Punk, stop eating. Leave some for me. Master of Red Sun yelled anxiously. Luli had been attacking and luring the white flames over. Master of Red Sun could not move too fast. Otherwise, if the shield was broken, Master of Red Sun would be seriously injured, if not killed. 4. Give me 4, and I will leave right away. Okay, I only want 3. 1 should be fine, right? My friend, let's be friends. Come to me at the Mountain of 9 Dragons, and I will take you as my protege. Luli was fast enough that Master of Red Sun could not catch up with him. Master of Red Sun could not kill Luli even if he wanted to. Seeing the fruits dwindling, Master of Red Sun felt like crying. The fruits were priceless. There was nowhere to buy them, even if he wanted to. Naturally, Luli would not give such good stuff to Master of Red Sunday. The fruits were not ripe yet, but they were powerful. Luli had a feeling that his body was about to transform. Maybe after he finished all the fruits, his body would not grow much stronger, but it might transform into some kind of treasure. The crippled Zen master had said it before. There were 3 stages to the supreme divine body. Luli was still at the 1st stage. However, he had a feeling that after consuming these fruits, he would not be far from the 2nd stage. As he continued flying, he released the Slayer Emperor's true intent and quickly ate the blessing fruit. He understood one thing. After eating the blessing fruit, although Master Scarlet Sun would be exasperated, it was very likely that he would retreat. That was because he couldn't kill him. Without the blessing fruit, there was no point in staying here. Soon, Luli finished the 12 fruits. Seeing that Luli had eaten the last one, Master Red Sun almost fell to the ground. His bell-like eyes were filled with red light. He gritted his teeth and roared like an injured beast. "Choose something." At that moment, Luli suddenly said. He stopped and said, "Do you want this vine? Maybe after a few thousand years, it will bear fruit again." Huh? Master Crimson's son's blood-red eyes became clear. After being stunned for a moment, he asked, "You can give me the vine. That depends on what you do." Luli said, "If you leave now and make an almighty oath that you will never do anything to me again, I can give you the vine." The vine was useless to Luli. He could not grow it for tens of thousands of years. He didn't have the time. If Master Scarlet's son left, Luli could give him the vine. Phew, okay. Master Scarlet's son almost shouted with his teeth clenched, but he had no other choice. If he could not kill Luli, what was the point of staying here? If he could get the 3 vines, maybe he could go back and grow more. After Master Scarlet's son made the almighty oath, Luli gave him the 3 vines. Master Scarlet's son gave Luli a meaningful look and left. Since he had made an almighty oath, he wouldn't dare to kill Luli again. He could only throw a few glances at Luli. After Master Scarlet's son left, Luli was relieved. He dashed out as well. Even though he could stand the white flames with the help of the blessing fruit, it would consume a lot of energy. He should go out and consume the energy. When he appeared in the area of purple flames, he felt he had come back to the human world from hell. He felt extremely comfortable. He seemed to be more resistant to fire now. The purple flames couldn't hurt him one bit. His body was recovering at a speed visible to the naked eye. In a time for more than a dozen breaths, he was completely healed. Consumed the energy. Luli wasted no time. He sat with his legs crossed and used divine energy to transfer the energy to every inch of his skin and flesh so that his body could absorb all the energy. Whoosh! Master Scarlet's son flew out. Those outside didn't know what was going on inside. Seeing Master Scarlet's son coming out, a patriarch of the Wu family cupped his fists and said, "Master Scarlet's son, how did it go? Let's talk outside." Master Scarlet's son walked out with a gloomy face. The patriarch of the Wu family and the others were taken aback. Master Scarlet's son clearly didn't kill Luli. They followed Master Scarlet's son out. Wu Qing came over as well. He didn't ask anything because he could tell from Master Scarlet's son's expression that he didn't succeed. Master Scarlet's son did not avoid the topic and said, "Wu Qing, immediately send a message to your patriarch and invite a supreme elder to come out. The blessing fruit on Blazing Island has been refined by that kid. Now, he can do whatever he wants in the White Flames region. He has just consumed the blessing fruit, and it will take some time for him to consume the energy. We still have time to ask for a great patriarch. If it's too late, I don't think even a great patriarch can kill him." Blessing fruit, everyone was in an uproar. Some old warriors were regretting their decision. Wu Qing and the others were regretful as well. Didn't they say that only one emperor went in thousands of years ago? How could such a super herb come to be after thousands of years? Blessing fruit ranked among the top 5 of all the herbs with properties of fire. Taking the blessing fruit would greatly enhance one's immunity to fire. According to Master Scarlet's son, if Luli consumed all the energy, he could even go to the area of flames of destruction. By then, not even a real lord would be able to do anything. Unless Emperor Yang came in person, asking Emperor Yang to deal with the successor of 1,000 transformations, Emperor Yang wouldn't do it. Even if he did, the Wu family would be disgraced. Wu Qing's eyes flickered. He thought about it and asked, "Master Scarlet's son, are you sure?" "Of course." Master Scarlet's son was already angry. He shouted angrily, "If it were not for the blessing fruit, do you think I can't kill him?" "No, don't get me wrong." Wu Qing made up his mind and winked at a patriarch. That patriarch left to send a message back to the Wu family. The pursuit of Luli had become a big deal. There must be a result. Wu Qing would be shamed, and the Wu family would be disgraced if he asked for a great patriarch's help. But it was better than letting Luli live. "This old man will wait here." Master Scarlet's son flew to a nearby island and said with his teeth clenched, "When your great patriarch comes, get that punk out." I want to see him die with my own eyes. Chapter 2460. When the news reached the Wu family, the family patriarch gathered a group of patriarchs for a discussion. Eventually, they decided to send a great patriarch over. The entire Silver Flame Sea was in an uproar. There had to be a result. A strong start but weak finish would damage the dignity of the Wu family. Therefore, the matter must be handled perfectly. The Wu family sent a great patriarch who had been famous for a long time. He was proficient in fire fundamental principle, and he had been to the area of white flames. It would be too easy for him to kill Lu Li. Unless Lu Li could go in and destroy the area, he would die for sure. Not many remember this great patriarch's real name, but he had a famous nickname, the Mad Old Patriarch. He was a battle maniac who never got married. He had been studying martial arts all his life. Once, he challenged half of the old warriors of the Silver Flame Sea and killed dozens of famous ones. He was called the Mad Old Patriarch, meaning that he was unreasonable and would bite anyone he saw. When the news spread out, all the old warriors near the blazing island started to gather there. It had been years since the Mad Old Patriarch came out. After he reached the Lord Realm, he barely fought. It had been tens of thousands of years. How powerful was the Mad Old Patriarch now? Many people were curious. It was said that the Mad Old Patriarch had a great chance to reach the Emperor Realm. Since such a powerful figure was going to take action, those old demons naturally wanted to come and watch. Of course, many of them also wanted to befriend the leader of the Wu family. This old mad dog had a very special position in the Wu family. He was very paranoid and bad-tempered. Except for the Patriarch and Yang Di, he would not give face to anyone. If they could get to know the Mad Old Patriarch, the Wu family would let bygones be bygones if they offended the Wu family in the future. The Wu family was ready to open a space gate to teleport the Mad Old Patriarch over. Many old warriors opened their space gates and teleported over first. Buzzing, before the Mad Old Patriarch arrived. More than 30 old warriors had come. Many patriarchs and hall masters of nearby forces, young masters and young ladies had come to watch. At first, there were only thousands of people. But when the Mad Old Patriarch came, tens of thousands swarmed over. The blazing island was bustling like never before. Many young masters and young ladies gathered together in high spirits. It was rare for them to see such a big scene, especially since the Mad Old Patriarch was coming. He was one of the most powerful warriors of the Silver Flame Sea. Lu Li didn't know how many days he had been in closed-door cultivation. He didn't know that a famous, powerful warrior was coming. For the past few days, he had forgotten everything. As long as no one from the outside world came in, he would not wake up. For the past few days, he had been refining the medicinal power bit by bit. Every part of his body had absorbed the medicinal power. He could feel that his physical body could transform at any time. It was very likely that he would enter the second stage, the qualitative change of his physical body. He was so excited that he even forgot about the dangerous situation he was in at the moment. His mind was completely immersed in it. He saw a glimmer of hope for the great completion of the supreme divine body. Originally, he did not have much hope and had never thought of cultivating the supreme divine physique to the great accomplishment. He knew very well how difficult it was to cultivate the supreme divine physique. This time, as long as his physical body could transform, he would have hope of successfully cultivating the supreme God body. There was still a lot of energy left in his body. Lu Li continued to consume. He dared not to consume too much of the energy for fear of wasting it. The heavenly blessing fruit was indeed a peerless divine medicine. Its medicinal power was terrifying. Boom, 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 boom. Half a day later, the sky suddenly trembled. Lu Li looked up at once. He saw a scene in his mind. A huge space portal appeared in the sky. From the portal, a golden chariot whooshed out. A strong old man in a black robe with disheveled hair was standing on the chariot. He did not have a strong chi and energy, nor did he look special. He seemed to be average, but his eyes were sharp like two sharp knives. He He seemed to be looking at Lu Li from the distance, which made Lu Li tremble. Unparalleled, powerful warrior. Lu Li's expressions changed. Soon, the scene in his mind disappeared. But Lu Li believed that the powerful warrior must be outside. That was not an illusion. It was a powerful skill released by that powerful warrior. That was right. In addition to Lu Li, everyone outside the island was thinking about the same thing. They all felt they were being glanced at by the sharp eyes. Everyone, including the warriors of the fifth tribulation, felt their hearts skip a beat. Whoosh, 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 Wu Qing flew up with all the patriarchs, as well as many warriors. Even Master Red's son flew up. All of them bowed to the slovenly old man standing on the chariot. Greetings, forefather. Wu Qing and the others behaved like lambs in front of the mad dog. Not only was the mad dog crazy outside, he was crazy in the family as well. He would slap any young generation that he disliked without giving them any face. Years ago, a young generation murmured something and a mad dog slapped him to death. Greetings, Lord. Master Red's son and the others bowed. Actually, Master Red's son was older than the mad dog. That being said, age did not matter in this world. The more powerful one was the Lord. The mad dog glanced over but didn't say anything. He snorted to Wu Qing and the others, a bunch of good-for-nothings. You can't even kill a bastard. What are you doing here? Wu Qing and the others were scolded, but they dared not to talk back. They only admitted their mistakes. The mad dog turned to the blazing island. He said nothing. The chariot he was on slowly moved forward. Whoosh, 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 the group of people immediately followed, including Wu Qing, Master Scarlet's son, and the others. 40 to 55 tribulation Empyrean gods followed. This group of people wanted to curry favor with the old mad dog, and they also wanted to see the old mad dog's shocking methods. Oh no, Lu Li sensed something was wrong. The mad dog wasn't close yet, but somehow Lu Li felt pressured. Just now, the look from the mad dog gave Lu Li a strong feeling. A powerful warrior of the sixth tribulation realm must have come. The Wu family had sent a great patriarch to kill him. What should I do? Many thoughts came to Lu Li's mind. Without any hesitation, he retreated into the area of white flames. He had a strong feeling that the area of white flames might not be able to stop the super powerful warrior. The Wu family would not send out an average warrior. Since they sent a great patriarch, they must be confident. The Wu family knew that Lu Li could stand white flame. How could they send out an average warrior? Then, there's only one way left for him. To go into the flames of destruction. Would he be able to stand it? He had seen the black flames in the center from the distance. He didn't have to think too much. Even if he were 10 or 100 times stronger, he would be burned into ashes in no time, not to mention his current physical strength. Even Emperor Z had to rely on the flames of destruction to refine his body. Lu Li didn't even have a small success in his immortal body, let alone a complete success. Whoosh! From outside came a noise. A chariot flew into the area of white flames. The mad dog's face became clearer. The mad dog stopped 2 miles away from Lu Li, stared at him coldly, and said, "You should not have come to the Silver Flames Sea. Kill yourself, and I will let you die in one piece." Chapter 2461. Even though the mad old dog was called a mad old dog, he had his pride. He would not stoop to killing a warrior of Lu Li's level. If it were not for the fact that the family patriarch had invited him in person, he would not have come here. Therefore, when Mad Old sensed that Lu Li's realm was too low and he was not powerful, Mad Old didn't even bother to kill him. For Mad Old, Lu Li was no different from an ant that he could crush. Lu Li felt hopeless when he saw the Mad Old. This man was too powerful, more powerful than all his opponents. Even the great patriarch of the Shan family was not as powerful as the Mad Old. This man was like a sharp saber. Anyone who touched him would be hurt. Lu Li thought quickly. He realized that he had only one way to go, which was to consume the energy in his avatar and see if his body could be improved. If his body could be transformed, he might have a chance to run into the flames of destruction and survive. All right, Luli was upset. He cupped his fists and said with a bitter smile, "You are too powerful. I have only cultivated for a short time, and I cannot defeat you. I am willing to end my own life. Please give me some time." Luli sat on the ground with his legs crossed. He mobilized divine energy to consume the rest of the energy. He had a feeling that his body was on the verge of transformation. Now that he was consuming the energy, it might be happening. The mad old sensed Lu Li's situation, but did not take it seriously. As far as he was concerned, Lu Li was like a grasshopper on a rope. Lu Li could not get away no matter how hard he tried. Since Lu Li had agreed to end his own life, the mad old would not do anything. It would be shameful for the mad old to kill a warrior like Lu Li at such a young age. Lu Li was consuming the energy quickly. After the time for half an incense stick to burn, the warriors outside were confused. The mad old was so powerful that he could kill Lu Li in one move. Why hadn't Lu Li come out after such a long time? After the time for one incense stick to burn, Lu Li still did not come out. The mad old was losing his patience. He said coldly, "Kid, there is no need to play these tricks or waste time. These tricks are useless. Do not diminish the reputation of the master of 1,000 transformations." The time for one incense stick to burn. Lu Li did not open his eyes. He said, "How about the time for one incense stick to burn? Of course, if you think something will go wrong, you can kill me now." Old Mad Dog smiled and didn't say anything. He narrowed his eyes and waited. Now, he was looking forward to it. He wanted to see what Lu Li could do in the time for one incense stick to burn. The people outside were getting anxious, especially those from the Wu family. However, they weren't worried that something would happen to Old Mad Dog. This patriarch was too strong. Less than a martial emperor could kill him in the entire Silver Flame Sea region. After Lu Li finished speaking, he ignored the Old Mad Dog. If the Old Mad Dog wanted to kill him, then he could only accept his fate. The divine power in his body circulated wildly, sending the remaining medicinal energy throughout his body, strengthening it. After the time for half an incense stick to burn, the feeling in Lu Li's mind was getting stronger. He felt like he was a bug that was about to break out of its cocoon. As long as this thin cocoon was broken, he would transform from a worm into a butterfly. The divine power in his body was circulating more and more violently. The blood in his body was gradually strengthening. Most importantly, as the divine power circulated in his body, he suddenly felt the sound of raging waves. Whoosh, 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 the sound was getting louder. Even Lu Li's soul was trembling. He knew this moment was coming. His body was going to change, and he was about to enter the second stage. Whoosh, 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 divine energy was being mobilized, and the sound of waves was getting louder. The mad old dog was surprised. He took a closer look at Lu Li and murmured in surprise, "Surging chi and blood. Initial success in a mortal body?" Old Mad Dog didn't know much about a mortal body. That being said, he was born in a family of a martial emperor, and he had lived for so many years. He had seen a lot, and he could tell something. Old Mad Dog still didn't intend to take action. Initial success of a mortal body was nothing for him. Even if Lu Li's immortal body was at the initial success, Lu Li's abilities would only be comparable to a fifth tribulation warrior at best. For Old Mad Dog, Lu Li was still too weak. Splash, splash, the sound inside Lu Li's body was getting louder. Following that, Lu Li's body glowed in a golden light. He was like a Buddha. His skin was glistening as if it were made of gold. His skin was getting brighter, and the sound inside his body was getting louder. Surges of horrifying energy spread out as if an ancient beast was waking up. And even though Wu Qing and the others were far away, they could feel the surging energy. Even the tens of thousands of people outside the island felt something was wrong, as if there was a ferocious beast on the island. "This is getting interesting." Old Mad Dog nodded. A glint of bloodthirst rose in his eyes. If Lu Li didn't kill himself or try to rush into the flames of destruction, Old Mad Dog would show no mercy. It would be a great honor for him to kill a genius with the initial success of a mortal body. Splash, 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 the sound inside Lu Li's body was getting louder. The glow around him was getting brighter, and his energy was getting stronger. Luli was getting excited. Finally, his immortal body was about to reach the initial success. It was time for him to rush into the flames of destruction. Wait. All of a sudden, Luli's heart was pounding. He opened his eyes and looked into the sky. At the same time, Old Mad Dog looked into the sky as well. His pupils contracted. He came to his senses at once and shouted, "Get out as far as you can, now!" Boom, 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 boom. As soon as Old Mad Dog finished his words, dark clouds gathered in the sky. The sky darkened all of a sudden. Many thunderbolts were moving around in the clouds. Chi, an energy that could destroy heaven and earth, were coming from above. Run! Wu Qing and the others came back to their senses. They didn't need Old Mad Dog's reminder. Everyone's soul was pounding, and they all sensed fatal danger. Many people didn't know, but Wu Qing and the other powerful warriors did. The thunderbolts were not regular thunderbolts, but the real thunder of destruction. This was one of the most horrifying thunderbolts in the third heaven. It was said that such thunderbolts would occasionally appear during the sixth heaven's tribulation. All of them were at the fifth heaven, and many of them were at the fourth heaven. How could they survive the real thunder of destruction that only appeared during the sixth heaven's tribulation? Run, run! Those outside the island were frightened. They didn't know why this was happening, but they knew one thing. If they couldn't get out of the area of lightning, none of them would survive today. Thunder tribulation? Luli blinked, a little unsure. The crippled Zen master once said that when he reached the second level of the supreme immortal body, there would be thunder tribulation. At first, Luli thought it was just the regular thunderbolts. He didn't know that the thunderbolts were so horrifying. Swish! Before he could react, a bolt of lightning whooshed down. It was black in color, but there was a hint of gold in the darkness, as if there was a golden dragon inside. Boom! There was a hole in the area where Luli was. He was smashed down. He was trembling. Black smoke came out from his skin. Arcs of thunderbolts were running around in his body. That you're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.